think biblically is to study your Bible and to apply the truth of your
Mornings
Bible
with
to your life.
Brian.
And Paul Cannings from Powerwalk.
Moody
God's word by
Radio
itself is powerful and sharper than a double-edged sword. God's word itself has the ability and the power
At
and the
6 to 9
capability to do what it wants to do.
Join men from Ohio and Pennsylvania at Canton Baptist Temple in Canton, Ohio for Walk Worthy, Saturday, March 1st. Go to moodyconferences.com and click or tap Walk Worthy, or text the word WALK to 440-546-2255 for a link to register.
Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Peace of Christ was written by Patricia Raybon and read by Joyce Dinkins.
Would they win by arguing? Never, a small town leader warned residents in Adirondack Park, where a pitched battle between environmentalists and small business owners ignited the Adirondack Wars. Go back wherever you came from, a local leader had shouted at an environmentalist. But soon a new message emerged. Don't yell at each other. Try to talk to each other. A Common Ground Alliance was formed to build bridges between warring factions. Civic dialogue led to progress, with nearly 1 million acres of wild land protected, even as Adirondack towns grew more prosperous. Peaceful coexistence is a start, but Paul taught something even better. To the new believers in Colossae, he said, "Rid yourselves of anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips." Paul urged them to exchange their old ways for a new nature in Christ. Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, he wrote in Colossians chapter 3. The invitation is offered today to all believers. Surrender our old cantankerous lives to new life in Christ. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace. Then, in our peace, the world will see Jesus. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Serving Portage, Summit in Medina counties, and more. This is Moody Radio Cleveland. From the Word to Life. WCRF Cleveland. WVMS Sandusky. WVML Millersburg. WVMN Newcastle. WVME Meadville. WVMU Ashtabula. Or stream us anywhere with the Moody Radio app, other streaming services, and at moodyradio.org/Cleveland. A federal judge is blocking the Trump administration's mass firings of federal workers. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. A U.S. District Court judge ruled that the Office of Personnel Management must rescind a memo that resulted in the mass firings of probationary employees. The ruling says the firings were probably illegal, but it does not reinstate workers who have already been dismissed. Monticello Middle School students avoided injury yesterday when they evacuated their burning school bus. 15 students were on board the vehicle when it caught fire in Cleveland Heights. No one was hurt. And a large ice jam could lead to massive flooding in Paynesville. Firefighters tell WOIO-TV that the jam in the Grand River has made for dangerous conditions. The situation is being closely monitored. In sports, the Blue Jackets clipped the Red Wings 5-2, while the Penguins grounded the Flyers 5-4 in overtime. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. A wind advisory is in effect from noon to 7 p.m. this evening. Mostly cloudy skies, a slight chance of rain showers this morning, and it will be breezy with our highs in the lower 50s. That sounds nice, right? Clear skies in Cleveland, 31 degrees. Mostly cloudy and 32 in Akron and Canton. Youngstown reporting flurries and 33 degrees.
It's time for your moron moment.
Many people abstain from red meat on Fridays during Lent and choose instead to eat fish. And my mind goes back to the original fish and chips. Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips was founded in 1969 in Columbus. At the peak of its popularity in the late 70s, there were 826 stores throughout the United States. I remember one in Medina. But as of 2023, there were only 2 standalone stores remaining, one in Cuyahoga Falls and one in Garfield Heights. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 6:02 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
It's follow-up Friday, which means the show belongs to you. We're going to review this week's topics and also open up the phones. And, well, they are open now. And the texts for you to suggest any topics you want to talk about. 440-546-2255. Lauren is out on her girls' weekend.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably just going to sleep after prank calling boys and doing nail polish, right? Daria, isn't that what we decided they'd do?
Probably not in their 30s. They're not.
No?
Pillow
No.
fights?
Probably not.
No. Boy, I don't know what they would be doing then. Let's find out from someone else in their 30s. Kathleen Zion's here.
Hi. I 100% think they're sleeping. They went to bed at 9:30.
There's a bunch of moms.
And
yeah.
they're sleeping until 10.
Yeah, they have young children. They're
Yeah.
enjoying the peace and quiet.
100% that's what they're doing. My friend just invited me to like a little weekend getaway, and she was like, we're just going to sleep and eat snacks.
There you
Perfect.
go.
There's nothing else you need to say. That sounds wonderful.
Now, for those who don't know, you and Ron and I have a long history together.
Yep. It's been a journey. What was it now? 8 years? No, 10.
Oh, Kathleen,
10?
it's going to be 10 years this summer. 10 years ago, we started the show, and you and I and Ron were the first show of this iteration involving Ron and me.
Yes, the original crew. Yes, it feels like 100 years ago, but just like yesterday too. At the same time, yeah, we started August of 2015.
Yeah.
2015. So it's been almost 10 years, and it was quite the journey. And I think we've grown a lot.
Yeah, and in fact, you sent me, I don't even know, it's not a meme, it was a little reel about if you had an opportunity to speak to your 20-year-old self.
Yes.
What
I
would
would
you
punch
say?
them in the face. That's what I said to Brian. Because when I first started here, I was 25 years old. All my jobs tended to be in the theater. So my job started at 7 o'clock at night and then would go until 11, and then I'd go out afterwards.
She's an actress, by the way.
Oh, yes.
Musical theater major.
I was an actor. And so the thought of waking up at 4:30 every day and being my perky self at 6 was hard for me. It was very hard. And
You remember that, Ron? I'm trying to remember if that was
I would sleep in this room. Like I'd be like, I need 10 minutes, and I would just like curl up under the studio desk and nap. And I was genuinely tired.
You were. It's relative.
But now I have 3 children who sometimes sleep and sometimes don't. And now I get it. And Brian would be like, well, wait until you have kids. And I'd be like, Brian, I'm tired. I don't get it. I'm still trying to have a social life. And now I'm like, I don't need a social life. I need rest.
Right.
Yeah, like when I get up, one of the first things I look forward to is going back to bed that night.
Yes, me too.
Like sleeping, the best. Going out on dates, let's start at 4 so we can be home by 7.
100%. Some people were like, hey, we should all hang out. And I said, but can this start at 4:30 so that we're tucked in bed by 9?
And that's how, I mean, Kathleen 10 years ago would have been horrified that would be
Yeah.
who you became.
The night starts at 9.
Right.
Who am I? The amount of times in a week that I say, I used to be so cool. It is just endless. I used to be. But now I'm a mom.
Yeah,
I'm
moms
so
are known for
tired.
being really hip and happening and cool, you
Yeah,
know, and with
yeah,
it and partying.
That's me.
Yep.
All my fashion is from Sam's Club. I'm cool.
Now, Daria, if you could talk to your 20-year-old self being 27, what would you say to her?
How are you?
Stay cool?
No, I would probably say something like slow down.
Yeah, I was the same way. Where you have this intensity about you where you're like, I got to hurry up and get life going.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I did, yeah.
when I was a junior in college, I thought that if I did not have an internship by the time I was, a junior, that I would never work ever. I don't know why I thought this, but I struggled to get an internship. I'm like, I am never, ever going to get a job.
The gates are closed if you
Yeah.
don't get an internship junior year.
21, and I just shot myself in the foot for life.
Oh, man, when I was a teacher, so I don't know how it is here, but in Minnesota, you were on probation essentially for the first 3 years. You could be fired for any reason. And then after the 3rd year, you'd get tenure, which is like you have to break the law somehow to get fired. It's like a job guarantee.
Right.
And I know somebody might not like my description of that, but that's how it worked, okay?
Right.
And every year I was so panicked. I was like working my tail off. And I had one guy, Howard Schwartz. He was the business teacher. And he walked up to me one day and he was like, you need to calm down. Do you see her over there? And there was this one teacher that had a reputation for like doing nothing. And he goes, she got tenure. You're fine.
Relax.
Calm down.
Yes. When I was in college, I went to school for musical theater. And for the first 2 years, we had a cut system. So every quarter, we would have to do juries. So you would go in and you would have, 6 songs. The jury, which was all your teachers, would pick a song, pick a monologue, and then they would give you feedback, and you would either be safe, on probation, or get cut from the program.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds really relaxing.
It was horrible. And so for the first 2 years, I think I just blacked out and just was like, I'll do anything to not get cut. And so I don't feel like I learned anything because I was so fearful of not making it. And then once I got to junior year, I just was like, well, I can just hang out the rest of my life. And so I don't feel that how you guys feel or felt, because after that I was like, nothing can be this terrible.
I get that. And yet for Ron, I feel like he may have heard of anxiety. He hears us talking about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure Ron has ever been there.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I have, but it's been a while since.
Oh, boy.
Ron's going
Case
to
in
outlive
point.
all of us.
Yeah.
What would you say to your 20-year-old self? Get a haircut or?
I would be like you guys were saying, calm down. I would be more of the step it up, buddy.
Get going.
Pick something already, because I would be the guy who'd be like, well, I could do this job, and if I don't like it, I do something else. I've got my whole life ahead of me. And then all of a sudden, you get into the point of, hey, everybody around me has been working for the same company for 5 years or in a career path, and I'm like, I've been bouncing around a lot. Maybe I ought to settle in somewhere.
When did you settle in? You're like 5 years ago when this show started. 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think probably about 20 years ago, I left the excavating business with my brother, and I got back into radio and said, okay, I am really going to make a go for it this time.
I'm sorry, the excavating business?
Yeah,
Yes.
he brought this up just a few years ago that he worked in that business.
What does that mean? You
Like
sold them, you rode them, you dug with them? What
His
does that
dad
mean?
ran the company.
Yeah,
What?
my grandfather started it with just a
That's
bulldozer.
cool.
Then my
The
dad
Eastwoods are
ran it.
legendary in that area for this. Yeah.
Bulldozing?
No, well, for the construction company.
Just exclusive
Yeah.
bulldozers.
They're very good at bulldozing.
We are bulldozers. in the blizzard of '78, you remember that snow blizzard? Were you
like
alive
it was
then?
yesterday. No, I was not alive
I was
yet.
born in '79. And
Yeah.
she's
So yeah, I think I overshot that one.
In my day, the blizzard of 78.
made me rethink everything.
Hinkley Township hired us to bring a bulldozer out and plow their streets.
Wow.
Because it was so deep. The
Wow.
dump truck plows couldn't do it. But yeah, I did. I worked in the excavating. I was in the office doing plans sometimes, and out in the field running scrapers mostly when I was out there.
That's awesome. Do you guys know Blippi? He's got a great song about excavators.
Really? I have
Yeah.
to look it up.
Excavator. Hey, dirt. See you later. Oh,
Wow.
That's good, because most children things call it a digger.
Oh, not Blippi.
Blippi's
Yeah.
precise. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'm somewhat envious to the point of anger of Ron's easygoingness in your 20s. I was like Daria. I was like, maybe tomorrow it's all going to fall apart.
Aw.
Like, if I don't work harder, this could end and my family will be destitute. Right?
Wow.
I mean, when you're in college, I mean, it's just such a whirlwind. There's so much that happens in a few years. You take classes, you leave, your home, your friends, you make new friends, and you see the people that you don't want to turn into.
Yeah.
So it just, you just get these ideas in your head that your life starts now, and everything you do now makes, the rest of your life. But you're so young.
Now I feel like I may have peaked at 45, and it's like 46. Whoops, I'm not accurate anymore. 46. Yeah, I don't know.
45-ish.
Yeah, but like, what is peaking, really? You know, because there's other things that will be wonderful.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying
later.
great things won't happen, but it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. No one's getting excited about that young 46-year-old coming in to change everything. Look at you. You agree. Your face. You're like, yeah. I'd be like, why would you hire such an old person?
Young 46-year-old. It is wild. I can't believe you're 46.
I know. I remember my parents very vividly at this age. And it's like, wow, they seem so old.
Yeah.
I think you're allowed to just kind of coast and enjoy how life doesn't change a whole lot. That's, those are good seasons too.
That sounded sad to me, though.
Give up now.
Maybe you get.
No, I mean you don't.
It's
You don't
downhill.
Sometimes, life is not just highs and lows. Sometimes the in betweens are nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for the coasting to start. I feel like I'm going uphill right now.
Really?
Oh boy. Well, it's it's a different kind of hard from when kids were little.
Sure.
I'm not one who would like to compare which is harder. I think that's ridiculous. But the emotional turmoil of teenagers, to me, is right up there with the physical exhaustion of small children. And it's just like, wow, when is this over?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
On that bright note, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's 6:18. We're up against a break. When we come back, we'll review the week's topics. For Follow-Up Friday, we got Kathleen Zion in with us, former co-host, and also nationally known actress.
Oh, yes. Yes.
She's looking around like, who, where?
Yes, that's true.
You're acting. I was telling your husband, it's like he can retire soon. He's going to be able to ride your coattails.
That would be great. Yes.
Go
the
with
Lord
you to
has
the
been
Oscars.
blessing us with some extra work for me in the acting world, which has been great.
And for those who love the show, you're familiar with attorney Nathan Zion, Esquire of
yes.
Mulhall Zion LLC. That is your husband.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's pretty swell.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
6:18, more coming up.
Moody Radio Cleveland is on the air thanks to supportive listeners and Naylor Neutralon and Landscape, serving the greater Cleveland area since 1973. More information about Naylor Neutralon and Landscape is at nnlawn.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My debt problem started probably about 2016. I needed my life to change financially. I called Trinity and I ended up joining based on high credit card bills and high interest rate. And my counselor at Trinity has been great, and Trinity has been helping me to get on the right path of paying off these credit card bills, bringing down the interest rate. They have consolidated my bills into one low monthly payment. And now I am finally getting out of credit card debt. So I just want to say thank you, Trinity, for showing me a better and greater path.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838.
My name is Sharon, and soon I will be debt-free for keeps.
1-800-659-9838.
Moody is thankful for support from Minnow. From the co-creator of VeggieTales comes a brand new animated series, The Dead Sea Squirrels.
Good morning, brother.
Designed to capture kids' hearts and teach them about the Bible.
With God, anything is possible.
The Dead Sea Squirrels, streaming now exclusively on Minnow. More information is at gominnow.com/Dead Sea Squirrels. Minnow uses the power of media to help kids experience Jesus every day, on and off screens. The Minnow app is available to download on all platforms.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
624 on WCRF, Mornings with Brian. It's Follow-Up Friday, where you get to set the tone for what topic you'd like to discuss or revisit. We're going to review in just a moment, but I have to remind you, tomorrow is the Walkworthy Men's Conference.
My husband will be there.
Awesome.
And he's bringing a bunch of guys.
He is. A bunch of guys from our church.
Do you think he'll be embarrassed if I have him stand up and I say, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
Attorney Nathan Zion, Esquire?
Yes.
That means he will do it
Yes.
now.
Guaranteed.
Oh, no, he'll love it. No.
He'll hate it?
He'll hate it.
It'd be good for business, though, right? People know where he's at.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to do it whether he wants me to or
I'll
not.
tell him to wear like camouflage or something so he can hide. I'm in an improv show every month, and that we interview someone about their business, and then we do improv based on it. And our guy wasn't able to do it, and so I was like, they were like, does anyone know anybody? And I said my husband would do it, but he would hate it, but he'll do it. And
He'll do it because I'm going to tell him to do it.
Yes, and he was like, oh, I really hope someone else shows up.
How do you do improv based on being a lawyer? Objection.
No.
Sustained.
It's based on like all of the stories that they tell. So different type of interactions that they've had, or interviews, or situations, or how they started their business, or what their life is like. So it's not just like all lawyer scenes for 40 minutes of improv.
Well, he may not be excited about improv, but he's pumped about the Walkworthy Men's Conference.
He is pumped.
And I can't wait to introduce him to the whole crowd. So would you like to be there as well? You could meet Attorney Nathan Zion, Esquire. You could meet Ron Eastwood. In fact, we've got a whole trend running right now.
Oh, my goodness.
It's not a trend because you declare it a trend, Brian.
That's actually how it typically works. If I say it enough times, it becomes true.
What are we talking about?
So we went to the women's conference last year, and Dana, Ron's lovely wife, was there. And she was a little taken aback at how many women would loudly declare, I love you, Ron Eastwood.
You can imagine.
Yes, what a life you live,
Some with
Ron.
a bit of emotion.
I think someone ran up and hugged the both of them.
Wow, it's like Beatlemania for Ron.
It was, yeah.
And Dana was kind of like, why don't you get away from my man? Like, she goes a little, like, defensive.
Yeah, the bristles were going up. And her sister and sister-in-law were there, with her. And they were, like cordoning off, running interference.
Wow.
Telling her, you better hold his hand or something. Or don't let anybody get away.
I love it. You get a neck, like a name tag, like property of Dana.
Yeah.
Get one of those meme T-shirts where it's just her face 45 times.
Yes.
So for the men's conference, of course, I'm encouraging the men as well. Don't let Ron feel like he's disappointed in the men's conference. So when you see Ron anywhere, yell out, I love you, Ron Eastwood.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
It's tomorrow. Get your tickets now.
Yes,
Get your ticket tomorrow.
Can you believe it? It's tomorrow.
I can't believe it.
It's coming up so fast. We're excited. So
It's March tomorrow.
I know.
Yes.
don't even. Although I'm happy about that. I'm happy
Me
about
too, because
March
that
being
means it's almost spring's almost here, and I can't do it anymore.
You can send the kids in the backyard. Get out there and play.
Oh, I can't do it.
It's going to be great.
The cold is over.
So get your tickets now. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. Or go to moodyconferences.com. Well over 900 seats already gone, so we'd love to see you there. And it may still sell out. We don't know. So just get to it today.
Last numbers I saw were just over 1,000.
Wow.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So
No
we're
one tells
getting
me a
close.
thing.
We're getting close, guys. There are tickets available, but you're going to want to hurry.
Remember, I love you, Ron Eastwood. Can't wait.
Yeah.
It's optional.
I don't know. It sounds like it's
Required.
mandatory.
It's going to
Oh,
happen.
no.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Okay, so a couple of topics to review quickly before another break. See what you want to talk about. Every small group has these 5 people. Which one are you? We went over that from Relevant Magazine. It was kind of fun. And Kathleen might be the oversharer. We don't know for sure. Don't write your own marriage vows. Somebody at Christianity Today was like, do not customize vows. Be traditional.
Okay.
For a variety of reasons. Did you do customized or traditional?
Traditional.
Did you do Here Comes a Bride when you walked down the aisle? I don't remember. I was there. I just don't remember.
I think I did. I really like.
Dun, 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 dun.
I can't remember.
Okay, I can't either. Okay, be careful who you pretend to be. As in, Russell Moore says, we have this tendency online to lean towards the extremes, and the more you get attention by leaning to the extreme, the more you ultimately become the extreme of what you're pretending to be. And I think there is some truth in that tendency. And then there was the trad wife on X, Twitter, whatever, Patriarchy Hannah, which I'm thinking she's pretty much your favorite, right? Patriarchy Hannah.
I don't know who that
Aren't you modeling your life after her?
I don't know who that is.
So
I'm not cool and popular and trendy anymore.
you know the trad wife thing.
Yes.
Are you a trad wife?
I don't think so.
That you're not then.
No, I mean, like, we have processed food in the house and stuff.
Daria's kind of a trad wife.
No.
She was so mad.
I have made my own bread and bagels.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're not. I don't assume you're wearing flowery dresses every day, and it's like this caricature of a 50s wife is what it is.
But it's also you get permission. Nathan, I'd like to take the children outside now. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
And she works outside the home, so that would disqualify her.
Yeah. Well, Patriarchy Hannah, she was supposedly had like 12 kids and all this, and a husband. Turns out she has no kids and she's single.
Oh,
And
now I'm interested.
Made the whole thing up.
She lives with her parents too. I just heard that from someone else.
It was a whole thing for Christian Twitter where people,
Sure.
a lot of Christian women were like, I want to be like Patriarchy Hannah. Turns out.
Because her life's not real.
Exactly.
That's why.
Well, the problematic thing with Patriarchy Hannah is she was like actually advocating for men to hit their wives. And like, my husband hits me, it's fine. Like, you're not a real man or you're not a real wife if you don't do this or allow this.
And people were like sending her gifts. I love you. I love you. We started watching the Ruby Frankie
I don't know what you're saying.
documentary yesterday.
Who's Ruby Frankie?
I don't know.
She was a YouTube star about having all these kids. Turns out she's in jail now for 30 years for child abuse.
Oh, dear me.
So, yeah, it's really uplifting program. You should check it out. Secondhand embarrassment is a spiritual gift. It really could be a spiritual gift. We had a blast laughing about secondhand embarrassment. I don't know that you, Kathleen Zion, have secondhand embarrassment, but you love embarrassment.
I do.
Like one of your icebreakers is tell me your most embarrassing story.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you ever get secondhand embarrassed? Like if I did something weird years ago, would you
Not
get embarrassed?
with you, no. No, not with you.
Because you're just used to it.
Yeah, and like I very rarely feel secondhand embarrassment, but it's more so like if someone else is like compromised, then I feel for them more so. If that
So
makes
like
sense.
if they're stuck in a position where they're embarrassed?
Yes.
And it's not their fault totally?
Yeah, and you're like, oh, how do I get you out of this? But then I put it on myself and then I help them and then I make myself look silly so that they don't feel silly. You know what I mean?
Well, at some point today, we'll have to discuss our most embarrassing moments,
Ooh,
or at least
fun.
have Kathleen share her favorites because she knows everyone's most embarrassing moments. We can share names even.
Sure.
Look at that. What do you want to talk about? 440-546-2255.
Hi, my name is Joe Abraham, and this is Pause for Prayer. Suffering? Could it be possible that is one of the Lord's greatest weapons to demonstrate the life and love of Jesus, one person at a time? I know what you might be thinking. I didn't sign up for this. Maybe, maybe not. Jeremiah 29:11 is a great promise of hope. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Great. But what about this promise? I hear very few people ever refer to it in 2 Timothy 3:12. Indeed, all who desire to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. Strap on your boots. Let's go. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we bless you and praise you, and we thank you for your grace and goodness, your holiness and justice. You are a righteous and loving God, a God of wrath and a God who brings eternal peace. Help us to live with the tension of who you are and what you will do. Your thoughts and ways are much higher than ours. Thank you for giving us both spiritual gifts and the privilege to serve you by serving others. Thank you that much ministry happens not by significantly doing, but just by being your example and then your mouthpiece. Why suffering? 2 Corinthians 1:3-7 sheds much light. Thank you that you are the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort. Thank you that you respond to us with grace and help and healing when we call upon your name. Hebrews 4:15 reminds us that you, Jesus, were tempted in all ways and experienced the same weakness we do, but without sin. Thank you for the ministry of sympathy and empathy to the saints. But we are further exhorted to share that same comfort from above with those around us in affliction, needing comfort and prayers. we in our suffering can be the gospel bridge to another's life. Give us a heart of compassion and a willingness to use our adversity as an ally to make Christ known to others. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
Attention, Latino men! Come stand alongside thousands of other Latino men worshiping in Spanish and answering God's call to live boldly for Him at Levántate, the only conference designed exclusively for Spanish-speaking men, on Saturday, March 29th at Moody's downtown campus. This life-changing one-day event features dynamic worship and powerful biblical teaching. Register today at moodyconferences.com/Levántate. moodyconferences.com/Levántate.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland. 6 to 9 a.m. Weekdays on 103.3. Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland, 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
.639 WCRF. Most embarrassing moments. We already have them coming in from you. We're excited about that.
Good.
It's all tied to a topic earlier this week. It's Follow-Up Friday. We revisit topics from before. 462255. It's WCRF. Tomorrow's Walkworthy. So excited. Get your tickets today. Okay, all that's out of the way. We talked about secondhand embarrassment, which is when someone else is either caught in an embarrassing moment or does something so embarrassing that you feel terribly embarrassed. Lauren, I think, is in almost a constant state of secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah,
That's a heavy burden to bear.
Considering who she works with, it's not a surprise.
Yeah, there's like a lot of times where I think I'm not embarrassed at all,
Sure.
but she feels very embarrassed for something I've done.
Interesting, yeah.
I was a little shocked when you asked them, do you ever feel embarrassed for Ron? And both the girls were like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, really? When? I didn't notice.
Well, I remember one time on the air, Ron and I were under the impression that there's a particular phrase that men say about their wives that's complimentary.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And so I was like, yeah, Sarah, she's my trophy wife.
Oh.
And Lauren and Daria got embarrassed, like, don't say that.
Yeah.
And Ron's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Dana's my trophy wife. I go, what is that
Okay,
bad?
I can hear why you think that would be a good thing.
You're embarrassed right now.
I'm not embarrassed. I feel like, oh, that's wrong. That's sad.
Trophy. It's like perfect, beautiful, amazing. Look at.
Everyone strives to win the trophy.
She's with me. Me.
I hear you.
But that's not what it means, I guess.
That's not what it means.
The trophy says more about the person that has it than it says about the trophy.
Yeah, sorry. I got to side with the girls on this
Oh,
one.
and then Ron jumped in with, yeah, my wife's smoking hot. Do you like when I talk about that? And then,
Yeah, that's cringe.
should we talk about it for a while? I mean, my wife's smoking hot too, Daria.
No, it's
I'm
not.
glad you feel that way about your wife, but
I bet Nate Zion would say that about you.
sure hope so.
By the way, they're married if you don't know.
Some random person.
Well, there's a bunch of people that know Nathan now more than you.
Thanks for that.
Well, Nathan Zion is now a regular guest on the show.
He is, and I'm so
You can
proud
believe it.
of him.
So, most embarrassing moments, we'll go around the horn. And then Kathleen, our dear friend here, Kathleen Zion, local actress, national actress, former co-host of the show. It's one of your favorite things, embarrassing stories.
I do love embarrassing stories. And I love shows like Practical Jokers and stuff like that.
Oh,
I love watching people just
Get embarrassed.
get embarrassed. Yes. Yeah, I have friends that can't even watch The Office. And I love The Office and Parks and Rec and things like that where it is.
That's all it is.
Yeah, awkward situational awkwardness. I just love it.
So Daria, will you go first? Do you have an embarrassing story?
All right. Well, when I was
You
in
sound
college,
so upset that you're telling this.
Oh, I think I've told you guys before. I don't know if I've told this on the air. So when I was in college, myself and some of my classmates were leaving this charity event that our class was working. Really, really bad winter storm had set in while we were working. The roads were so slick. A friend of mine fell crossing the street trying to get into the car. It was really bad. And I also had a really bad migraine. So I was not feeling well. Pile into this car. There's 5 of us on icy roads, just trying not to die. It's so bad. And my migraine is getting worse and worse and worse to the point I'm like, I am nauseous and I'm going to throw up. And I'm in the middle of the backseat of the car. Roads are bad. I'm like,
oh, no.
What am I going to do? I'm not getting out of this.
Oh, no.
So what I did, my roommate was sitting next to me. I had the back of my jacket detached. So I said to her, it was a hood, I said, can you please unzip this and give it to me?
That's amazing.
And she didn't question you?
No one knew that I was feeling this bad. I'm like, I don't have time to explain. I just need to figure out a solution.
Give me that hood.
Mm-hmm. And it worked.
It worked, but
you didn't have a hood anymore.
My room, well, I washed it. It said so it was fine. I actually still have that coat. And then my roommate just goes, "Are you serious?" I'm like, I already feel bad.
But it was either that or
throw up on somebody. I mean, we're crammed
Yeah.
in this tiny little 4-door sedan. Roads are terrible.
That would have been more embarrassing.
You made the right call.
Yeah, totally the right. Very creative. I would have
Yes.
been paralyzed by indecision. What'll I do? Who will I throw up on?
Which
person?
friend?
Yeah.
Which friend can handle? Will still be my friend after this.
Because it wouldn't have been on yourself. You'd
No.
have avoided yourself
No,
at all
no,
costs.
I wouldn't want to have to do laundry. Are you kidding me? Ron, what about you?
Back in the day, I played football in high school, and there was a time where I'm thinking it's after we punted. So the play was over. We're jogging off to the sideline to the, where the team is, as the defense would be coming on the field. And my friend Paul was jogging beside me, and he tripped over his own feet or over the grass or something, and he just rolled forward. He went into a forward roll, popped right back up on his feet, and kept jogging. And I was like, did I just see that?
It's like a superhero.
Yeah, it was hilarious. But yeah, we teased him about it. He was like, hey, I got up on my feet.
That's awesome.
If you're going to fall
Yeah,
well.
he did good.
Yeah, you can't tease someone for that. Like, that's an impressive save.
Yeah.
True.
One of my more embarrassing ones you actually overheard.
Oh, yeah, this is a great one.
We were making you tell it.
Okay, so it was during share time, and we used to have to call people to give, like people who had previously given, and say like, leave a message, or we would.
Nobody answers their phone.
Nobody answers their phone.
Yeah, we still do that.
Oh, okay. Well, so I was walking past Brian's office to make copies, and I heard Brian leaving a voicemail for someone, and he's like, thank you so much for your donations to Moody Radio, and in Jesus' name, amen.
And I hung up.
And I just like poked my head into the office. I was like, did you just say in Jesus' name, amen, to finish your phone call? And Brian's like, I can't believe you just heard that.
Yeah, of all the moments for you to be standing there.
That was awesome. Yeah. That was awesome.
Now,
So fun.
what's your most embarrassing story? Is it the skiing one?
Oh, that is a good one. Oh, I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, I'll tell this story. I have so many. So here's the thing, though, that I feel like you need to know about me is that I don't embarrass easily because I'll turn it into a joke. So secondhand embarrassment is harder for me. But that time, I was embarrassed. So junior high. It was junior high, which is even worse.
No.
Worst years.
Yes. And I had a huge crush on this guy that I thought looked like Aaron Carter when Aaron Carter was in his heyday.
Okay.
And I was convinced that I had our wedding planned, And so he was like, oh, our family's going skiing. Would you like to come with us? And I was like, yeah. And so I had skied before, not great at it, but he was snowboarding. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I can snowboard. So instead of wearing snow pants like a normal person should, they're not cute. They're bulky, So I wanted to look fashion forward while I was snowboarding. I wore jeans to snowboard. And I don't know if you've ever snowboarded, but it's really hard. And I fell so many times. And so I was like, we were like heading inside getting hot chocolate. And this sweet woman came up to me and she said, the entire back of your pants are ripped. And I was mortified. I thought, how long have I been getting up on the snow, on the board, and just, it's a free show. Everybody come look at the crazy.
Draft?
I was soaking wet because I was wearing jeans. And so I just like tied something around my waist, and then I never spoke of it to that person, and I never saw that person again.
I was going to say, you never spoke to him either.
Nope. I hope they're well. But yeah.
You didn't get married,
Didn't marry him. No, Nate doesn't look like Aaron Carter, so it's fine. But yeah, that was like one of my bigger embarrassing moments.
Well, we have a couple of your embarrassing moments. I would love to hear more of them. 440-546-2255. It's Follow-Up Friday on Mornings with Brian. 648. Kathleen Zion, former co-host of the show and wife of attorney Nathan Zion Esquire. You're not used to hearing that. Is here with us today. We'll talk to her more and you in just a minute.
Moody Radio's thankful for support from listeners and businesses like Deerfield Ag Services. They help in adaptation of new technologies and techniques of farm and business management. More information about Deerfield Ag and how they can help is at deerfieldagservices.com.
I have come that they might have life and have it abundantly. That's a beautiful and compelling promise from Jesus. But what does it mean? In a world that feels like life is losing its value, its meaning, and its purpose, can we really live abundantly? Yes. In just a few minutes each day, you can join a growing community of believers who are gathering around CareNet's devotional, 365 Days of Pro-Abundant Life. This free, easy-to-follow devotional arrives in your inbox daily and invites you to grow in your faith, understand the sanctity of life from conception, and be inspired by Christ's abundant promises. You'll find biblical wisdom, inspiring stories from the front lines of Pro-Abundant Life ministry, and the empowering message of the gospel. Make 2025 the year you begin your Pro-Abundant Life journey. Discover hope, deepen your faith, and become a champion of life. Access your free devotional, 365 Days of Pro-Abundant Life at care-net.org/Moody. care-net.org/Moody.
Don't forget to assemble together. That's what Hebrews 10:25 says. Hi, I'm Chris Brooks from Equip. There's something about being together that helps us take the next step with Jesus. Wells shares right around the corner, and we'll hear about how God has used Moody Radio to help listeners just like you trust in Jesus. Together, we can boldly share Jesus Christ on Moody Radio.
Go to moodyradio.org/Cleveland. moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
They say family knows you best. Here's Brian's older brother with a message for you.
I always knew my little brother had the gift of gab, and he proves it to you every morning.
It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio, Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
.654 WCRF. We're talking about most embarrassing moments as a follow-up for Follow-Up Friday to our secondhand embarrassment thing where Lauren totally came unglued. She almost left the room from embarrassment. It was hilarious. We've got that on social now, right?
Yeah, it's on our YouTube. Check it out.
It's very funny. But also, don't forget, tomorrow's Walk Worthy, so get your tickets. We'd love to see you there at Canton Baptist Temple. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. Kathleen Zion with us.
Hello.
And she loves good embarrassing stories, so this is plenty fun. I know you got a call about an embarrassing story, but we're getting another one now. So, Lauren, we had a couple people who are, you're not Lauren, you're
That's
Kathleen.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
You got a couple embarrassing stories by text.
Yes, I did. So one person was saying that they were going through some church stuff, and they were having a prayer time with their pastor. So one day they wrote, on the phone, we were having a conversation, and he wanted to pray for me, which was great and wonderful. And so he prayed the wrong name and called me John, and my name is William. And so it was very funny in my moment, but also embarrassing for my pastor, because I'm sure he has a lot of names to remember. So anyways, they had a good laugh about it, but he's like, my mom actually did this to me when we were little. I was really scared about heaven as a kid. And I was like, are we all going to be in heaven together? Will we know each other? And my mom was like, Christina, don't you worry about it. Like, the Lord has us in his hand and he will provide and protect. And I said, you don't even know me here.
That's so great. Do you have any other embarrassing stories to share?
Me personally, or from our friends?
Either one.
I had another one from a listener, and they said that back in the day when it was cute to wear tiered prairie skirts, which are basically like layered skirts, she was in the parking lot talking to some guy, and the next thing she knew, the wind blew her skirt up over her head, and by the time she batted the thing back into place, he was halfway across the parking lot. Embarrassing for me, but I think more embarrassing for him.
Clearly. He just walked away.
He's like, I'm out. Bye now.
Oh, boy.
You said you had an embarrassing karaoke story that I want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's not funny, more you just feel sad for me.
Those are the stories that I want to hear, yeah.
So we were on our 10th anniversary cruise, Sarah and I, and we were with a good couple friend of ours. And I thought at the time, I was really into Frank Sinatra. I just thought he was the best. And we were walking around. For some reason, I just belt out Frank Sinatra songs while we were walking around.
Well, fun.
And I was pretty good in the stairwell.
Yeah.
And so we get to karaoke, and they're all coaxing me. And I'm like, okay, sure, fine. And I went up. They didn't have many Frank Sinatra songs in there. And I picked one I kind of knew.
What was it?
I don't even remember what it was because it was so traumatic. Because I went out with the microphone and it started, and as soon as it started, I'm like, oh no! They
didn't give you like the TV?
Well, they had the TV, but it was a little different than the original.
You're like, this is not in the key of A like I expected.
And I didn't know what the note was. Like,
that's amazing.
What note should I sing? I don't know, because it was like just quiet shuffling drums, and a really soft bass. So I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, that's funny.
And the person should have helped me.
Sure.
They did not.
They just let you go.
So
you're like, fly, birdie, fly.
I just fly me to here we go. Da, da, da. And I had to do the whole song. I couldn't just like walk away. I did the whole song in the wrong key. I was never in the right spot.
You're just monologuing it. You're like, that's life. That's life.
And then, of course,
Sarah, that's what all the people say.
Sarah and our friends have their cameras up.
Sure.
I was so embarrassed.
That is so funny.
And I had to sit down. But I was so embarrassed. I didn't talk it. I just kept trying.
You kept trying to sing. You didn't monologue it.
No, I just kept trying.
Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm proud of you for getting up and doing it, though.
Yeah, I've never done it since.
If you're on a cruise, no one knows. Although they'll probably be talking about you.
I'm sure they're talking about me.
Yes.
That guy who thought he could sing Frank Sinatra well when there's no music.
But the point of karaoke isn't to be good. And so you nailed it. Good job.
There you go.
I?
You didn't do good.
If somebody could give me the note, I would have done well.
Next time he has it like a keytar with him at karaoke.
I love a keytar.
I love a keytar.
All right. Should we go? Let's go to Paula is on the line here. Hey, Paula, what's your embarrassing story?
Okay, so in ninth grade, I just made the varsity softball team.
Congratulations.
And I was in the church choir. Thank you. Oh, I'm older now, but you know.
It's a big deal, though, in ninth grade to make varsity. That's big.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool thing, but I wasn't used to the light games. And so I had fallen asleep in church in the choir loft. And half the church, the choir loft faces half the congregation. Well, the pastor faces the other half of the congregation. And so I started dreaming that I was getting hit in the face with a softball.
Oh, no.
So I screamed out. This was so bad. I screamed out the word no really loud. And my left arm shot out. My right arm shot out. And I knocked the guy's glasses off sitting next to me.
Was the pastor preaching at that moment? What was happening in the service?
So, okay, well, then I knocked off another person's glasses on the left, and he stopped the sermon.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
I'm sitting there. I'm trying to disappear, right?
Yeah.
And half the congregation is cracking up, and half of it's silent. And my mom's the organist, right? And she has hard of hearing. And so after the service, I had told her about it. And the pastor walked up to my mom, and he goes, Marge, everybody started laughing. I didn't say any funny, did I? And so she told him what happened and just busted me. It was so bad.
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
The congregation never let me forget about it. It was hilarious.
No.
Nor should they.
Yes.
Scream no and punch both people, one on each side, and knock both of their glasses off?
Oh,
yep. Yeah, and they found their glasses, but it was like, thank goodness I didn't break them.
That's a great story.
That is great.
Paula, how long you been in the Moody Radio family? How long you been listening?
Oh, gosh. It's been over 10 years.
Wow.
15, maybe 20.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Do you have any mornings with Brian Gear yet?
I don't.
Well, you're about to.
What?
Love the call. You stay on hold, and Daria will get your information, and we'll send you something. Daria keeps track of that. I don't even know where I am right now, let alone what gear we have available. So thanks for that call. That's hilarious.
That's very funny. Yes. Falling asleep in church.
Our friend Janelle would say that her husband would fall asleep a little bit in church, but the way he would make it seem like he didn't, as he would wake up, he'd go, amen, amen, amen. To try to make people think he's just into it.
Oh, sure.
All right, it's time for Ron's news and today's Moron Moment. And Follow Up Friday will continue after that.
It's Mornings with Brian, live from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studio. Whether it's your faith or your health, you don't have to journey alone. WCRF, Cleveland. WVMS, Sandusky. WVML, Millersburg. WVMN, Newcastle. WVME, Meadville. WVMU, Ashtabula. And with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
The planets are set to align tonight. It's 7:02. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. Just after dusk, Mercury will join Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn in the western sky. Binoculars or a telescope will be needed to see Uranus and Neptune, and your chances are better if you have a darker sky. You're away from light pollution like from a city. State officials are approving payouts to two men who were convicted and served times for crimes they did not commit. Joel Covender of Amherst was convicted on sexual molestation in 1996 and served 11 years in prison, paroled in 2007 after the victims in the case recanted their allegations. Michael Buhner of Lorraine was convicted of murder in 2002, but an eyewitness later recanted his testimony, and Buhner was acquitted on a second trial. And the Real ID for Ohioans, the deadline is just over 2 months away. Many state residents will need that federally approved driver's license or identification card by May 7th. The IDs will not be necessary for everyone right now, but you will need it if you plan to board a commercial flight or enter some federal facilities after the May deadline. In sports, the Blue Jackets clipped the Red Wings 5-2, while the Penguins grounded the Flyers 5-4 in overtime. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Hold on to your hat because a wind advisory is in effect from noon to 7 p.m. this evening. We'll have mostly cloudy skies today with a slight chance of rain showers this afternoon. It's going to be breezy with our highs in the lower 50s. And at last check, we did have clear skies, 31 degrees in Cleveland, mostly cloudy and 30 degrees in Akron and Canton. Ashtabula, mostly cloudy as well, with the temperature 33.
It's time for your moron moment.
Many people abstain from eating red meat on Fridays during Lent and choose to eat fish instead. And that takes my mind back to the original fish and chips. Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips was founded in 1969 in Columbus. Now, at the peak of the popularity in the late 70s, they had 826 stores throughout the United States. But recently, they're down to just 2 standalone stores, one in Cuyahoga Falls and one in Garfield Heights. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 7:05. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
8:10 WCRF, Mornings with Brian. It is Follow-Up Friday on Moody Radio, and it turns out that men may be more romantic than women.
Oh, okay.
You don't believe that, Kathleen Zion, but we'll talk about the research here in just a minute. But it's Follow-Up Friday, and I have a few things I wanted to chat about, but the show belongs to you, 440-546-2255. 440-546-2255. Kathleen Zion used to host this show. You did for 2 years?
I think it was closer to 3.
Closer to 3 years, so probably like 2015 to 2018-ish?
Yep, right before I started having kids.
Yep. And we had a blast together, the three of us, you and me and Ron, and it's good to have you back. Her husband is Nathan Zion, the attorney that comes on the show once a month that all of you love. And Kathleen loves him the most, of course.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. So we're glad to have her with us all Follow-Up Friday. And whatever you want to talk about, go ahead. Just text us, 440-546-2255. 440-546-2255. So you don't buy it that men are more romantic than women? I mean, Ron's a hopeless romantic, isn't he?
I don't know. Are you, Ron?
A quiet romantic. I don't tend to
You just made that up.
Yes.
You know, I could see it because I think guys probably think about it more. Like, think about how can I, like, make this for her sweet and wonderful. Whereas, like, women, we can be like, oh, this is going to be great. And I'm just going to do it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Are you a romantic, Kathleen?
Maybe a little bit, but
I think your husband Nathan is.
He's more. I think he is more than I am. Yeah.
I still remember getting frustrated with him years ago when you guys were first married. I bring this up far too often, but you were the first time you guys were. You had your little apartment, and you were gone for the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And when you got back, he had like a welcome home sign, and he made chili. And I'm like, dude, calm down. You're making us all look bad here, buddy. You
Chili
got a lot
and
of years.
A welcome home sign is not that much
Ron.
effort. Come on, you guys can make some chili.
He did have like a card and chocolates and stuff too.
Candles.
I don't know. I know about candles, but he did
I'm
have
going to throw that in there anyway.
a new puppy,
cloth napkins,
a card, chocolates, a welcome home sign, and chili ready for you. Nathan Zion, calm down.
We were also newlyweds, so let's keep that in mind too. You know.
I don't know. I'd never. Ron, did you do that when you were first married?
I might have the first couple weeks.
Really?
Somewhere in there. But yeah, it didn't take long for me to fall into the routine.
Now, what is a quiet romantic? You have to describe this to me.
A quiet romantic is one who does things for their spouse, not big showy things. Like I will buy flowers on occasion or buy chocolates or something. But, you know, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, you know, sweeping up after the mess that I've made.
You should sweep up after your own mess. That is not romantic.
I was just thinking that, and I was like,
you're doing things that everybody in the house should be doing anyway.
Should do, but you know, now that I do it, she really appreciates it.
What's her love language?
I don't know for sure.
Oh, okay.
Ron, you work at Moody Radio.
If it's acts of service, then that tracks.
Yeah.
Now, in Ron's defense, like there's all these, I've seen all these shorts, the videos on the social media.
Ah, yes.
Where there's women going, you want to be romantic? Fold the laundry without me asking.
Sure.
So that's what he's doing.
Great.
He's being romantic.
Trying.
I guess my pushback would be like, I hope if you see the bin of laundry sitting there, you do it. You know, if you're sitting watching a show and it's just sitting there.
Well, see, the laundry's in another room, so I can sit and watch my show and totally miss everything else.
That's the difference. Like, I'd be sitting there watching the show thinking, I have laundry in there. The dishes need emptied. The dishes need cleaned. I have all this stuff I have to do.
Yeah, I've never understood that mentality. My wife has the same one. I'm always like, I'm doing fine.
We have to do it. It's going to, if it's not done, there will be more tomorrow. And then it just piles up, and then you drowned, and then you're overstimulated, and then you cry.
I am not much of a romantic. I mean, maybe I'm a romantic. I don't know.
You get Sarah sweet little things every once in a while, like when you're thinking of her. Yeah, I think you are.
I have a question.
I
Since
love
we're
questions.
talking about romantic things and gestures, when it comes to giving chocolates, is it better to give a large box of chocolates or to give just one or two that are higher quality?
Higher quality.
Okay.
I think. I think so. Like, I don't need a bag of Hershey's, you know? But
Yeah, I don't like Hershey's.
Give me like, go get the good stuff where you're like, what kind of treasures are inside each of these little treats?
Oh, poor Nathan.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like harder. I mean,
Quality over quantity?
just like I thought it was supposed to be the gesture of he thought of you. He was at the store. Oh, she loves Hershey Kisses. I love her. I'm getting her kisses.
I'd be like, okay, thanks. You went to the grocery store. Did you also get other things that were on the list?
Oh my goodness.
It's about knowing your spouse well. Like if, you don't have to get the expensive stuff all the time, but if you know they prefer that, maybe don't like something else, then, when you can, go for the one they prefer, even if it's a little bit more.
Now, I feel like making a prediction about Daria's level of romanticism, but I'm afraid of being wrong. This is what,
No, it's okay. Try being wrong.
I don't think that you are a romantic compared to your husband.
No, Jimmy is definitely a romantic.
Close one. I was waiting for you. What? But you have these expectations that Jimmy has to like build you a plane or something to impress you. He can't.
No, what?
Wow.
He needs
that sounds fun.
Fancy chocolates?
I don't have any expectations for him.
A plane?
I was being melodramatic.
That's melodramatic even for you.
So it turns out, according to science, which I love me some science, men are more romantic than women. Huh.
Does it say why? Or it's just like, I'm going to write an article and say this is facts?
Because science.
All right, let's hear science.
Yeah, why?
So research suggests that men may be more romantic than women across the board. They believe more, according to studies. I'm going to keep adding that to emphasize the point.
Statistically, it says.
Statistically, they believe more in love at first sight.
Are we seriously sciencing romance?
Yes.
I also want to know, like, how were these stats accumulated?
You get a group of people together and you say, do you believe in love at first sight? And men said it, yes, more
it's
than
like
women.
Valentine's Day. All these guys are in line getting flowers. Like, can we just real quick take like a tally of like you guys in line?
And men were also more likely than women to endorse the ideology of romanticism. Like, do you believe in romanticism? And the men were like, absolutely. Women were like, no.
I also think women might be a little bit more cynical towards love. I think I am. Like even yesterday, my husband and I watch Survivor, and there's this new season out right now, and there's this guy on there who just loves himself, and he has this like cliche way of getting to know people, and I was like, oh my gosh, there goes this guy. He says that I bet on every single date. I'm sure that's how he's trying to get the ladies to like him. And Nate was like, whoa, are you okay? I was like, I think I'm triggered by just like horrible conversation starters. And so it's like, there's just that cliche vibe of dating where I'm just like, bleh, because I lived it.
And you had a lot of bad dates.
I did.
But there are more measures in which men are objectively more romantic than women. And I love this kind of stuff.
Great. Why? How?
Whoa, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
We have to take a quick break. Kathleen Zion with us.
I'm already angry.
Yeah. You're welcome to join us in the discussion, 440-546-2255. And then use that number to text the word walk, because tomorrow is our Walk Worthy Men's Conference. It's not too late to get tickets. A little over 1,000 tickets already sold. There's a few seats left for you. Will you join us? Go to moodyconferences.com, or text WALK to 440-546-2255.
Heritage Classical Academy is a classical Christian school with campuses in Peninsula and Pepper Pike. They offer preschool through 12th grade at their school in Northeast Ohio. Learn how Heritage partners with families to prepare our children to winsomely engage the world for the cause of Christ as we cultivate wisdom, virtue, and Christ-likeness. Visit our website to register for preview days on February 27, March 4, or March 6, or sign up for an individual tour at heritageclassicalacademy.org.
Moody Radio's thankful for support from listeners and businesses like Deerfield Ag Services. They help in adaptation of new technologies and techniques of farm and business management. More information about Deerfield Ag and how they can help is at deerfieldagservices.com.
Moody Radio is on the air thanks to the support of listeners and Hawkins Sales. They've been serving our region's electrical industry for over 40 years. More information about Hawkins Sales is at hawkinssales.com.
Poverty is one of the most urgent challenges of our time. Over 700 million people around the world live in extreme poverty, surviving on less than $2.15 per day. World Vision is tackling the root causes of poverty by partnering with communities to implement sustainable solutions like access to clean water, healthcare, and nutritious food, so every child can grow into who God meant them to be. You can be part of showing Jesus love and bringing hope for the future. Visit worldvision.org/radio to get started.
Good morning, Cleveland. Thanks for choosing us to help you start your day. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Lately I've been really watching the Mornings with Brian, Moody Radio Cleveland, 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
For your spirit, soul, and body, it's Mornings with Brian, live from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studios. Good morning from Moody Radio Cleveland. Men are more romantic than women, according to experts.
And who are the experts?
And you have not given us any hard data on this yet.
Well, I mean, who needs the hard data when you've got the conclusions, the general conclusions?
Of that website.
The conclusions that you have jumped to?
The Washington Post. Thank you.
I don't.
Who are their sources?
Yeah, I don't.
Science.
Science is not a source.
It's the building of science.
Well, okay, so let me tell you this. It is the Justin Garcia, Executive Director of the Kinsley Institute at Indiana University.
Okay, great.
Take that.
I don't know what that is.
So why? What's the why here? Why are they like? What's happening?
Well, we talked before.
We understand the
about
science, but
men believe more in love at first sight. They believe more in romanticism than women. Men strive harder to establish romantic relationships, according to survey data.
okay,
Men are the first to say, I love you.
okay,
Men suffer more from love lost.
okay. I definitely agree with a lot of these things, at least in my own life.
Therefore,
I was going to disagree with him.
You
Really?
were?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What?
Men saying I love you first, you've got to be a very patient woman because especially, I was going to say especially older women, but no, women seem eager to, I want to be able to claim him. So
Interesting.
I wonder if that's because women like want the man to say it first, but they thought it first. Like who quote unquote won?
Kathleen's making a funny face.
Yeah. I think it just depends on the people. Like, I've never once said I love you first. I would never.
You're a heartbreaker over there.
Yes, I guess so. But I also hold my cards close to my chest, I
Right.
think.
So Nathan, your husband, was the first to say I love you?
Oh, yeah.
Did he do a good job?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
I failed at mine.
Why? What'd you do?
Sarah and I were driving
You
back
say
to...
it wrong?
No.
How do you mess that up?
I thought I said it in a very romantic way.
Okay.
We were driving in my truck back to Winona State University, everyone's favorite college.
That's where the study came from. I'm just kidding.
And we were we were on 90 in southern Minnesota, and I looked at her and I said, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Why is that not romantic?
She said, something like, let me know when you decide.
That's awesome.
It's a great comeback.
That's awesome.
Like, well, but hey, I thought that was a pretty awesome line.
yeah,
But
I
her
think I'm
comeback was
falling in love
even
with you.
better. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty funny.
that comeback might have shattered me.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
You'd be like,
if
and
I-
I'm out. You just open the car door and roll out.
Yeah. Jesus, take the wheel because I'm out of here.
Who said it first for you and Jimmy?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Was it a very romantic moment, or were you like, sit down, Jimmy, I love you, and you need to respond now?
No, I don't remember the specifics. I just said it. I just said it.
How did he respond? Did he say thank you like Han Solo?
No,
Or-
he
he said, I know. Sorry.
He said it back. And we've argued for years over who actually said it first because, like, he had a class where he had to journal. And so he wrote it in his journal the day before I said it. So he claims he won, but I verbalized it first.
I think you got that one. Yeah.
I do.
That's
Yes,
you.
thank you.
You're
I feel
welcome.
like I'm Team Jimmy today.
No, I
You
said
can
it out
think
loud
something until you speak it. You have to. That's totally different.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Thank
So-
you. 3-1.
If you can remember this far back, Ron, is there a story with the I love you, Dana? Or was it Ronald, I love you. When are you going to say it?
No, it was me. It was me.
You did it.
Yeah, but she would have been holding her cards close, like Kathleen. She was a widow with 2 young children, so she was not going to let her emotions run away as best she could contain them. But when I was showing interest, containing her emotions was obviously difficult. I mean, a strange woman at a conference yells out, "I love you, Ron." So
She's
now-
like, the cards are on the table.
So did you plan it, or was it just a spontaneous, hey, Dana, guess what? I love you.
it was pretty spontaneous. But at that point in the night, I was like, okay, I'm gonna say it now.
Aw, that's very sweet. Your heart's racing. What's she gonna say?
Yeah.
Mine was too, but I totally failed at it.
I don't think you failed.
I think.
Wasn't that a great line? I thought it was a great line, Ron.
It's a good line, but
It is a good line, but that's not an I love you. We're on the way there.
Well,
I think you were expecting like a rom-com moment where
Yes.
you're like driving and like the music is playing. Like, I think I'm falling in love with you, and Sarah's like, let me know when that happens. I love that. But that's so you guys. Like that's you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was always afraid of rejection, so I would, even when I asked her out, it was a disaster. I went up to her and I was like, hey, I'm going to go out to dinner and a movie with our friends Dan and Amy. You can come with if you want to.
Let me know when you've decided if you want me to come or not.
She said she decided that I asked her out, so she treated it like a date. But
She got
I was
it.
giving her an out.
Yeah.
Just giving her an out.
Yeah. I feel like, so growing up, My mom, I was always kind of like a boy crazy kind of little kid, girl person. And I have a very clear memory of my mom teaching me how to hold my cards close to my chest, to not be the type of person that was like, oh my gosh, please love me. Why don't you like me? Aren't I beautiful? Which, like, it just makes me want to crawl out of my skin. And
how did she teach that to you?
Okay, here you go. So remember the Aaron Carter story we told you at the beginning of the story? She's like, I don't know who Aaron Carter is.
I
Makes
do.
me okay, perfect. Okay, so that boy I liked, my mom watched me like following him around and being like, well, hi. And my mom, we were sitting outside. I like have such a clear memory of it. We were on our deck. And I was sitting on one bench and my mom was sitting on the other, and we were talking about him, and she came and sat next to me and started hovering over me. And she was like, do you like how this feels? And I was like, can you please scooch back? And she's like, do you like this? And I was like, I don't. Can you move? And she was like, that's what you're doing to this guy. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she said, now if I go sit over here, and I'm like, Kathleen, how was your day? And I'm being sweet. Don't you want to now come sit next to me and get closer? And I was like, yeah, I get it. And
what a great lesson. That's Cindy Farini, by the way.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Joe and Cindy Farini, Kathleen's parents.
And that's how I made all those boys cry.
You kept your distance. Played hard to get, essentially, is what she was teaching you.
Yeah.
So now,
but also protecting yourself. Like I'm making light of it, but also I think protecting yourself, because I just that talk about feeling secondhand embarrassment. Like whenever I remember so many girls being like, oh, he hasn't texted me. Why hasn't he texted me? And I'm like, forget about it. Forget about it. Go come hang out with us. Why are you making a big, like, live your life? Oh, I could go on and on.
Now, is there a story with Nathan saying I love you? Or was it, you don't remember?
So we have had quite a journey in our relationship. So like
it's a whole soap opera.
Yeah, it's a whole soap opera, really. And when we first were dating, I remember him telling me, and it wasn't like a big, like the snow was falling and he picked me up and said I love you. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like us talking and connecting, and he just said I love you. And I think I said thank you. I don't think I said I love you back. I wasn't ready, you know. I was also
good
like
for you.
17, you know. But then, I mean, soon after I said I love you.
You love pizza.
Well, that's easy. The pizza doesn't hurt your feelings.
Pizza's not a commitment.
Yeah, well, I guess, so I think the conclusion is, long story short, we all agreed that men are more romantic than women.
I don't think we all agreed.
Yeah, I didn't agree to that.
Science, you guys. Studies.
I just have a hard time following the scientific through line.
Are some men more romantic? Yes. I don't think we can safely say that all men are.
Yeah.
This person did one of those studies where you research all the research. You get all the research on this.
And you do the numbers.
Studies of people. You carry the 1 times pi, square root of the hypotenuse, and then you look at this and you end up with the data indicates men believe in love at first sight more than women. They endorse romanticism more than women. They strive harder in romantic relationships to establish them. They say, I love you first, and they suffer more from love lost. Men are more romantic, the end.
I don't agree with that last one, especially.
That they suffer more?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think guys, you know, if you break their heart, I was going to say break my heart, but I haven't been through this.
Oh, right.
But they'll go out. They'll go hunting for the weekend, or they'll hang out with the boys and play football or watch football if they're older.
Not this guy.
Not this girl.
It'll be, you know, they'll do something. Where the female, in my mind at least, tends to be, I'm going to sit at home for the weekend. I'm going to keep the shades drawn. I'm going to eat chocolate, lay in bed in my pajamas, never take a shower. You know, it'll be 3 or 4 days.
That is not me, but that might be some people. That might be some people. I'm sure. I think it just depends. Like when I got broken up with, I was like, I'm moving to Chicago and I'm going to live my wild life. And then Nate came back.
And they lived happily ever after.
Yep.
And at some point you said, I love you too, Nathan.
Of course.
I'm
still working on it. No,
3 kids later.
Yeah. No, it was literally like a day later. And then when we got back together, we both said, I love you at the same time.
Okay, well, thankfully, science has finally confirmed men are more romantic than women. It's time to go to a break. It's 7:34 on Moody Radio. More Follow-Up Friday with Kathleen Zion coming up.
Moody Radio is on the air thanks to the support of listeners and Hawkins Sales. They've been serving our region's electrical industry for over 40 years. More information about Hawkins Sales is at hawkinssales.com.
It's true, even kids can experience temptation. Help your children understand what temptation is and how God gives them the power to resist it. With our February Today in the Word Family Study. Today in the Word Family Studies have age-appropriate discussion questions and activities that will help your children enjoy spending time in God's Word. To download your free copy of this month's family study, go to todayintheword.com/family. Spend time in God's Word together. todayintheword.com/family.
Good morning, Cleveland. Thanks for choosing us to help you start your day. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Moody Radio 739 Walk-Worthy Men's Conference is tomorrow, and we're in Follow-Up Friday right now. Follow-Up Fridays when we review the week's topics and allow you to suggest any topic you would like. Joining us all morning, the lovely and talented former co-host, wife of attorney Nathan Zion Esquire, daughter of Joe and Cindy Farini, Kathleen Zion.
Wow, that is a long bio.
It is. Big business card there.
It is. Double-sided.
You've probably seen her in commercials here in Ohio.
That's true.
I have.
Yeah. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
I get really excited. I run around the house and show all the kids. Look, I know her.
Yeah, it was fun. The last one that was out for Christmas, people from high school were like, "Is that you?" Like people I haven't spoken to in a long time. Like, "Aw, yeah, I just look more tired now."
And you have 3 kids. So.
That's me. I'm just tired and that's it. And taller.
No, I get it. Like I feel like by the time I'll really be able to get rest again, I'll be too old to get rest.
Just
You know, when you're old, you just can't sleep anymore.
Yeah, no. Yeah, totally. I don't think I'll just be tired the rest of my life. It's fine.
I'm still mad at all the adults in my life that never told me that you'll be tired forever.
There's a lot of things that I wish I would have been told, like you're going to make every single meal for the rest of your life for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that would have been told to me. Never thought about it. Same with like hosting things, parties, how effortless it's supposed to look, but how hard it really is.
Wow. I think Moody Publishers could create a book out of this.
Sign me up.
Things no one told me.
Well, it'd be more like Things You People Never Told Me.
It's called How Dare You? That's the title of the book.
Subtitle, Things All You Jerks Never Mentioned to Me About Being an Adult. I was upset about the sleep thing. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, no one told me they'd be so tired.
Yeah. I never thought about it, honestly. It's just like, I'll be tired. And then you're like putting your baby to bed and swaddling them without remembering it and tired.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of times that I thought, like, did I fall asleep with the baby in the bed? And then I look and the baby's completely swaddled and sleeping in their crib. And I'm like, I don't have any memory of this. You know?
Yeah, that's tired. I mean,
Yes.
but that's part of the deal, right?
Yes.
I remember I had one moment where I felt like adults actually told me something I needed to know.
What was it?
Okay, so I was in a Christian band.
What was your name, band name?
Upward Call, obviously.
Lovely. What's it called? Like emblem. Did you have like a
logo?
A logo.
I don't know.
A mountain.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
Okay.
I was the bass player. It was very important.
Well, yeah, it is.
And we had people of a variety of ages, and we would go play in worship services. We'd do special music and do all these things.
Yeah.
It was
Lord, I lift your name on high. Like that?
actually just like that, believe it or
Lord,
not.
I let us sing your praises.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Come on, everybody. Clap on 2 and 4 if you can.
That would have been like the 90s kind of singing.
Yeah, it was late 90s, early 2000s when I did that. And we were out to dinner with this couple who had teenagers. I was in college, and they had some teenagers. And one of them got a phone call at the table. And, hello? Yep. Well, I don't know. Let me talk to your dad. And then she hangs up the phone, and she goes, she wants to sleep over at, Jenny's house. What should we do? He's like, I don't know. And I go, whoa. Hold the phone here. You don't know? I thought parents knew.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you knew all the things to do. They're like, no, we don't know what we're doing.
Mm.
Excuse me?
Mm.
It was like earth-shattering to me. I had no idea that parents didn't know things. And so Sarah's turned it into like a thing we tell our kids. She told, I don't know how many times Grace heard it. You're the first 19-year-old that we've ever parented. We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which
is good, I think, to be able to tell your kids that. Like, we're all just figuring this out as we go. The amount of times that I apologize to my kids, I'm just like, I'm sorry, honey. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And I love you, but I'm overstimulated.
So anything more to add to your list of things you wish people had told you about being an adult?
A lot of it has to do with, like laundry. You have to do laundry every day, or you're doing huge loads of it. Waking up early is important if you want to like have a quiet start to your morning, but it's terrible. You want to go to bed early, but you can't because there's a million things you have to do once the kids are actually in bed.
And then you're like, I want to actually have a little fun today, so I'm staying up late, which ruins your morning.
But the thing is, too, is if you don't have everything organized the night before, then it makes that morning even harder. So you end up staying up for another extra hour so that, like, the lunches are made for the book bag, so that the dishwasher is empty so you can load all of the breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff that's just constantly making your mind go round and round.
So, like, basically, there's nothing fun about being grown up.
Yeah. Would not recommend.
Go hang out with Peter Pan the rest of your life.
1 star.
Do you have anything, Daria, that you would you wish somebody would have told you?
I just wish someone told me how much it sucked. I mean, my parents always said, like, don't be in such a hurry to grow up, because I absolutely was. I thought I was growing up at 3. But they never told me why. Just like, bills and, responsibilities that and decisions you have to make that could impact the rest of your life, or at least a significant portion of it. It's a lot, and no one told me.
I do even think just like I remember being off on my own for the first time, and that newfound freedom was really exciting. But now it's not so exciting anymore.
No.
Especially when there's other people that I'm taking into account, that I have to think about what my kids are eating. I have to think about what I'm cooking with. Stuff like that, like, am I letting them? And then you just think, am I letting them watch too much TV? Am I not getting them outside enough? Are they going to get sick? What if we all get sick? One of them is now sick. Now we're all going to get sick. This is going to alter our entire week. Now I have to cancel all these plans and I have to reschedule all these appointments. And it's like the busyness of the brain that you can never shut off. That's hard. Like, well, you'll wake up and go, oh my gosh, I forgot to schedule the 18-month appointment for my daughter. Which doesn't matter, but it's on your radar, and it's another thing that fills your brain space.
That's the mental load.
Yeah, the mental load it's too much sometimes.
Yeah, keeping track of all the things, all the appointments that have to make for, us as a couple or, myself. It's just, it's a lot. I also thought that people would, or like when you got to be a certain age, you knew what was happening. No,
it's worse.
I'm still waiting.
It got worse.
So where you feel like totally with it, where you're like, I know how to do this, whatever this is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. People go, I'm going to have kids when I'm ready. And I go, listen, I got 5.
You're never ready.
And I'm still not ready.
No, the other day my sister-in-law came over and we were talking about my relationship with Nate and just like the journey of it. And I was holding Eliana, my baby, and she was like, well, and look at you guys now. Now you have 3 kids. And I said, I can't believe I'm allowed to have 1, let alone 3.
Well, and we've talked about this on the show before. It's a thing called mental age as well. Most people feel about 20 years younger than they actually are. The idea that I'm 46 is disorienting.
How old do you feel?
Well, feel and like inside my brain are 2 different things.
Okay, your brain.
Inside my brain, I feel like I'm probably late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
in your body, how old do you feel?
I feel about 64.
Oh.
Like I make noises when I get up now.
Yeah.
And I can't help it. I just yesterday getting out of the car.
Oh yeah.
Guys, I have to wear shoes inside the house now because I have plantar fasciitis.
Oh no, that hurts.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing.
That's why I told it. I knew you would laugh. I know. I have indoor shoes now that I bring with me places.
Mm-hmm.
That's how old I am.
No one told you that was going to happen. You're going to be barefoot Kathleen your whole life.
I know. I always walk barefoot.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Now I got my nice oofus that I wear around the house to support my plantar fasciitis.
Back in the day, you'd plop your bare feet up on the table here at the radio studio. All the time.
I got just my socks on now.
All right, we got to take another break. 7:47. It's Follow-Up Friday, 440-546-2255.
Prayer works. Jesus warned us of those who would oppose our Christian viewpoints. It may be difficult sometimes to face such opposition. If you're a new believer, Jesus also said that he will be with us in the difficulty. He'll provide strength and power to stand firm. How might your prayers reflect that need for God's strength? Here's an example from Dr. Timothy Fisk, provost of Moody Bible Institute.
Father, as women and men who have been bought by the precious blood of our Savior Jesus Christ, we are yours. We pledge our allegiance to you and you alone as we live in this world, surrounded by Babylon. May we too stand firm and do so with grace. It's in the name of Christ we pray. Amen.
Like to deepen your prayer life? Find resources at moodyradio.org/prayer.
Moody Radio is thankful for support from North Coast Family Foundation, giving hope to those struggling with depression, anxiety, and trauma through Christian counseling. More information is at northcoastfamily.com. That's northcoastfamily.com.
Helping you take the next step in your walk with Jesus. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Butler. Love that song. 7:53 WCRF Mornings with Brian. It's follow-up Friday. We're going to review some more topics. And again, the show belongs to you, whatever you'd like to talk about today. 440-546-2255. But I'm very excited. Tomorrow is the Walk Worthy Men's Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen remembers doing this for the very first time many years ago.
Oh, it was so fun. I remember it very clearly.
This will be my 10th.
I made you wear that huge shirt. Remember?
Oh, wow. That's
Do you remember
right.
that?
It was like a 4X or something.
Yeah.
You made me do a lot of things.
Yeah. I was like, all right, guys, make sure you get your free shirt. Here, Brian is modeling it for you. And it was like a dress on you because you're just like so slender. And it was very funny. You remember that?
I vaguely remember it. I must be like blocking it out. But I don't know how many.
Purposely gave you embarrassment.
I don't know how many times you rescued me. When we first started, there was a lot of people very displeased that we exist.
Yeah.
And and I could hardly walk out onto a stage.
Yeah.
And
that was where I liked that better. Yeah. I liked that better because I felt like I could control the situation more than a 3-hour show. Because I was like, what if I say something wrong? And people call me and tell me how they hate me again.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember the scariest one was at Playhouse Square, one of our very first times. And there was someone who literally walked up to the table when we were greeting people. We had just started maybe a couple of weeks before that. Welcome to Cleveland, I guess.
Yep. And we were like, thank you.
And after that, we had to go on a stage, and I just about curled up in a ball and cried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, God's people, let's not do that.
Oh, it was bad.
It was really bad.
But we made it, and here we are.
And we're stronger for it.
Yeah, and now Ron and I are excited to get on stage at the Walk Worthy Men's Concert. I am excited.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to have a blast. We hang out with the guys. There's going to be over 1,000 men.
That's wild.
And Pastor Rodney Maiden's the
isn't he
closer.
great?
We've got Pastor Paul Cannings from Power Walk Ministries flying up from Houston today.
Amazing.
And then we have Pastor Mike Frazier from Canton Baptist Temple. He's
the host.
He was on yesterday, and he's so good.
Great.
Oh, it's going to be great. And we're going to do a panel discussion. You'll like this one.
Love a panel discussion.
The topic is, you've got issues.
Love it.
You've got issues. And
Same.
it's something, the subtitle is something along the lines of helping men be godly in all their relationships in their lives. So
cool.
We all have issues, whether it's in marriage or parenting or work relationships or, your aging parents, whatever it is. And so you'll be able to anonymously ask questions of the panel. And I'll ask them for you.
And that's all of the men are getting it? Or like all the
pastors
Yeah.
will be up there with collectively like 100 years of pastoring experience.
That's cool.
And I'll ask the question for you. Make it as awkward as you want. I don't care. I'm not embarrassed anymore.
What
Kathleen,
is embarrassment? You know?
I don't know. I mean, you don't want to raise your hand and go, my wife's driving me crazy.
Sure, but if you're texting it, then no one has to know.
Yeah, and it's anonymous. I won't call you out. I won't be given your name. I won't be like, oh, it looks like Ron Eastwood here is really annoyed with his wife.
Right. Yeah.
Ron, are you in the crowd? Raise your hand, Ron. No, and that's not true, Dana, if you're listening.
No.
I'm not sure he's ever been annoyed with you.
No, I'm just quietly romantic toward her.
So please, gentlemen, join us. There's some seats left for you. It'll be a wonderful time. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. A couple of topics to review before we hit to Ron's news here. We talked about a new and unconventional solution to the mental health crisis. Schools are actually hiring an AI to be a school counselor.
Oh, what?
With people on the other end monitoring 15 to 25 chats at a time.
I don't
of
like
kids.
that.
Yeah, the team had a lot of hesitations about it.
Oh, that's sad.
Because schools don't have the funding or the ability to have enough counselors for the need that exists today.
That's really sad.
And
that's like one of the problems is loneliness. That's like one of the biggest
yeah.
problems right now. So like, let's have you just like tell your problems to a computer. Oh,
I know it's not great, but we did talk about how churches could be a solution to the problem.
Oh, sure.
Where there's a huge movement in our community, at least. Our friend Gail Reese is trying to get essentially churches to adopt schools. The schools love it.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's the program called?
Church Adopt a School.
Something like that.
Well,
yeah.
that makes
Pretty
sense.
straightforward.
Right on the nose. Yeah.
The Ministry of Reconciliation.
Yes. And they essentially, they provide, they go into the school through tutoring, lunch supervision, all these kind of things to support. And churches could do this.
Sure.
And then we've got how to discern what to fast from for Lent.
Oh, cool.
Kathleen's been fasting from sleep for better part of a decade now.
Yes.
And then we have, just because AI can transcribe all of your meetings, should it? Should you allow it to?
Lots of AI here.
Well, the world we live in.
AI's big.
Have you seen that robot?
Which one?
That robot that's like half human now, that's like spasming and stuff. Did you see that?
No.
That sounds made up.
Oh, I'll show it to you. It's real.
I mean, I've seen some more robots out there. It's scary.
It's like iRobots happening.
I know. There's something prophetic about that film, but Ron always comforts us with the laws of robotics.
Yes.
What's the law of robotics?
There's 3 laws.
Okay, I'll take 2.
Hurt no human.
That you're not allowed to ever hurt a human is law number 1.
Accept no programming that would override rule number 1. And I forget the third. Isaac Asimov's 3 rules.
Okay.
They didn't work in the movie, so I don't know why Ron's so excited about that. Watch out. Okay, and 3 words that can instantly improve any intimate relationship.
Okay, what are they?
Really? Tell me more.
Tell me more.
Oh. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But no, it's one of those where a lot of times in marriage relationships, Nathan might be talking to you about legal things, Kathleen. Like, well, yes, I was filling out the TPS report for the judge in the Zoom and the thing, and you're just like listening, going, I don't even know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And he finishes, and you go, oh, that's good.
And I should say, tell me more.
Well, I mean, in that circumstance, probably not. But it's, it's one of those where if he's frustrated, you'd go like, wow, it sounds like you're really getting frustrated with this case. Tell me more about why you're frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about that.
And the point is of what? Just to like keep the conversation going, or
Help
to show
him
that
feel
you're interested?
heard.
Oh, okay.
So he feels heard.
Interesting. I remember the first time Nate and I got in a fight when we were married.
Ooh, this sounds good.
Nate said to me, and this was in like our pre-married counseling class or whatever, I was starting to get angry and like get all riled up in my Italian way. And he said, what I hear you saying is, and that simmered me down pretty quick.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I've always been jealous of Nathan on that. I was so bad at arguing for so many years. And this dude figured it out before you even got married.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You're spoiled, Kathleen Zion.
I'll take it.
And then the digital Beatitudes. Someone found a way to take the Beatitudes and put them into digital behavior. And we went through a couple of those. Like how you can use those as a template on how to behave on the internet and social media, which most Christians are totally failing at.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Dear Annie, there was a Dear Annie column. How do you deal with a toxic coworker? The Sunday Scaries.
What's that mean?
Sunday Scaries is
because
like,
Monday's coming.
Yeah, but you don't want to go to work. It's like, I don't want to go to work, so you get all anxious.
Yeah.
How do you deal with the Sunday Scaries?
Sure.
And Daria went on and on about how she's mad about how the internet ruined in-store shopping.
Oh,
I did not go on and on.
Yeah, we
but
did
I
talk
went
about
on.
that, actually,
We did
when I
talk
first
about
got
that
here.
when she got in.
Well, it sounds like you were going on and on.
No, it came up in conversation.
Okay, 8:01, time for Ron's News. What do you want to talk about? 440-546-2255.
It's Mornings with Brian, live from the North Coast Family Foundation sponsored studio. Whether it's your faith or your health, you don't have to journey alone. WCRF, Cleveland. WVMS, Sandusky. WVML, Millersburg. WVMN, Newcastle. WVME, Meadville. WVMU, Ashtabula. And with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
The planets are set to align tonight. Just after dusk, Mercury will join Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Venus, and Saturn in the western sky. Now, the best chance of viewing all 7 planets will be in places free of light pollution and in areas with an unobstructed view of the horizon. Grand jurors have indicted an East Cleveland police officer on charges including falsification and tampering with evidence. Officer James Covell has been charged with a total of 10 counts stemming from 2 different incidents, both in May of last year. And New Franklin first responders were quick to the scene early Thursday morning with reports that a man had fallen through the ice at Turkey Foot Lake. The incident happened shortly before 2 a.m., and the victim was taken to a hospital for treatment of severe hypothermia. In sports, the Blue Jackets clipped the Red Wings 5-2, while the Penguins grounded the Flyers in overtime 5-4. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. A wind advisory will be in effect from noon to 7 p.m. this evening. Mostly cloudy skies, a slight chance of rain showers this afternoon. Obviously breezy, with highs in the lower 50s. At last check, clear skies 32 degrees in Cleveland, mostly cloudy 31 in Akron and Canton. Clear skies and 32 degrees in Youngstown.
It's time for your moron moment.
Many people abstain from eating red meat on Fridays during Lent and choose to eat fish instead. And when I think of that, my mind travels back to the original fish and chips. Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips was founded in 1969 in Columbus. Now, at the peak of its popularity in the late 70s, there were 826 stores throughout the United States, many here in Ohio and Pennsylvania. But as of 2023, it was down to just 2 standalone stores. One of the stores is in Cuyahoga Falls, the other is in Garfield Heights. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 8:04 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob Devine Studio.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Toby Mack on WCRF Moody Radio. What's Ron's best marital advice? And what do women really want? That's a burning question from a listener. Ladies, we don't care what your answer is to this. We're going to find out from Ron here in just a minute. But again, it's Follow-Up Friday on WCRF. Kathleen Zion with us.
Hello.
Used to co-host the show. Her husband is now a regular contributor to the show, Nathan Zion, attorney Nathan Zion, Esquire. Her parents, Joe and Cindy Farini, have been guests on this program since before it existed. Probably hung out with Bob Devine, is my guess.
I don't know, actually. I don't think so.
I think your mom did.
Really? Oh, okay.
I mean, probably.
I don't know.
I mean, your mom's so young, though, if she's listening. I don't know how she could possibly have done that, but just throwing that out there.
He probably babysat her.
Walkworthy Men's Conference is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Wow.
It's not too late to get your
Walkworthy
ticket.
is tomorrow.
I'm actually kind of mad at Lauren. She texted me this. I don't know why she's doing this in the middle of her girls' weekend.
In the morning.
Yeah.
Go to bed.
994 people are registered for Walkworthy in person.
Awesome.
That's a bunch.
We're approaching 1,000. So there is time for you to get a ticket, and there's a few left. So go right now. Text WALK to 440-546-2255, and we'll see you tomorrow. So somebody wants to know, Ron, what is your best marital advice?
Learn to say, yes, dear.
Oh, no. You're going to get in trouble for that one.
Yeah, I probably will.
Is that your best advice, though?
There's a sentiment behind that I do believe.
Tell me more.
Okay, I will.
Wow, good job.
Thank you.
It's easy to have your, like, this is how everything should be done because that's the way I've always done it. And, that's probably a reflection of how your parents.
Your parents.
Yes, your parents ran their home. Parental home was raised. So you have that vision, but you got to realize she likewise has a vision of what the household should be like. And if she's working outside the home, then you can't come back and say, oh, I'm so tired after work. I need to just sit and relax, because she's tired too.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to come up with some equitable split on the chores. Typically, it runs like the women do in the house, men do out of the house, or the house itself, upkeep. But it doesn't have to be that way. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to learn how to do laundry, how to do the dishes, how to sweep. And she may not like the way you sweep. The lines in the carpet are different than when she sweeps.
You're triggering Kathleen right now, I think.
But she will learn to accept it. And she may go over it again later when you're not there. But it's helpful. And in the long run, she will appreciate these acts of service. Even if that's not her love language, she'll appreciate not be working on household chores till 10 and then have to get up and go to work.
Ladies?
Daria, would you like to take this one first, or
on what we want or what Ron said?
No, what Ron said.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Those aren't issues that Jimmy and I have ever run into, because he's always been pretty helpful.
Yeah, I mean, historically speaking, and generationally speaking, I think a lot of people my age and older, I'm now 46, grew up with moms who stayed home. A lot of us stayed home and did all the household work.
Yeah, mostly older than you.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, I grew up in that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big deal, right? So, Kathleen?
Well, I think it is going to depend on the person that you're with, because maybe, like, I know I need time away. I need time to, go do something by myself, more than I need help at home, because my personality feels trapped very easily. And so if I feel like this winter has been really hard because of how cold it is, we can't even go outside because it's 2 degrees outside. And so I've been feeling very trapped. So Nate took a day off and was like, why don't you go take the day and do what you need to do? And just to be able to have that time without the kids so that I could feel like myself again was really important, more than him starting a load of laundry or, cleaning the dishes. I love those things, but I think it's just going to be different per person. And I think the more you get to know your spouse, that's, I think it's valuable to do like personality tests and figure out like, how can I fill my partner's cup? But I think if this person's just like, in general, what do women want? I think they want to be thought of. And not just like, here's a box of chocolates, but like, how can I best love this person?
We want to be known.
Yes. And that's how I feel a lot of times at like Christmas, where it's just like, I'm just going to give you this instead of, I bought you this gift because you once said blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd rather be thought of. Like, we stopped exchanging gifts with part of our family because we were like, we're just putting things on a list and then you're buying the thing on the list. I can just buy the thing on the list. Right. I'd rather just hang out with you guys and go to dinner, you know? So I'd rather be thought of in a way that's intentional.
Wants to be thought of.
Intentionally for that person.
I understand the point, and I think a lot of guys miss that. A lot of guys miss that.
Well, I think what's hard is because even going back to one of the other conversations we had is I think oftentimes we put each other in like these little boxes and like, well, all women are going to want men desperately and say I love you first and cry when they don't have reciprocation. And I don't think that's true for all women. I also don't think it's true that like every woman is going to want flowers. But some women do want flowers, you know? I am one of those women who would be like, can you not? Because now we spent $10 on something that's going to die. You know, like I'd rather you and I go on a date and we spend that $10 towards a babysitter.
Yeah, quality time together.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I've said on this show a lot because a lot of women fall into this, like, my husband should just know. And I've said a lot, you know, men are not mind readers. You have to communicate. There is a degree, however, in which I appreciate, I do think there is a degree at which it's reasonable for you to just know me well enough to know what I want without me telling you. I'm not, you know, I'm, again, not saying read my mind, but you should know me well enough to know that I like this thing or that I would really appreciate you, you know, picking up the slack here or whatever.
If you want to scare your husband, do this. He'll say, hey, what do you want for Christmas? You go, if you know me, you'll know what I want. Say that, and he'll die a little bit inside.
And like Nate and I have decided we don't do Christmas gifts.
It's not worth it.
We don't do we do birthday gifts? No, we don't really do birthday gifts. Just because both of us that's not how we're loved, you know?
Now, this listener, no offense, ladies, wanted to know from Ron what women want.
He didn't specify.
I think they want it. Ron knows after all these years. What do women want, Ron?
Oh, let's see. I think the poet once said, what a girl wants, what a girl needs.
I am so amped you just said that, Ron, because I've had it stuck in my head.
Whatever makes her happy sets her free. So I'd follow that advice.
I've never been more thrilled with Ron.
That's pretty great.
But I think if you can step up and prove that you can watch the kids for more than a half hour and they're going to survive, you know, that you can, you know, run the household and it won't burn down and the washing machine won't flood or anything, you know, step up and do some of these things so she can go away. If it's a Bible study in the evening or it's a girls' weekend, if you have advanced your skills that far that you can actually parent your children overnight by yourself. Yeah, I think, like Kathleen was saying, the freedom to be able to get out and do something. You make it so she can do that and relax, not be sitting at the coffee shop thinking, oh, I wonder what's going on here and there. And if he's done this, she can just be,
I do think things have changed a lot generationally, where now I think men fall into those things a lot easier than maybe like our parents' generation. I feel like most of the men that I see are very active parents who sometimes take their kids to the play date. Like the other day I was at a trampoline park and my friend was like, oh, there's so-and-so, and her dad was there. So, and that was in the middle of the day. So it's like, well, they have something different organized within their family where the dad had her on a Tuesday, you know, during the day. And so I think it's morphed over time where the burden of the home is between both spouses. But
good.
I also think a lot of the mental load still will fall on the wife just because of generationally, like that's just what happens. And I also think that women's minds work better with lots of things going on.
Yeah, I think there is a degree to which it's biological, and no amount of counseling or shifts over generations is going to fully make the mental load equitable. I mean, I could be wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong. I just think our minds work, most women's minds work a certain way where it makes more sense for us to carry the mental load.
Yeah. Women are spaghetti? Is that it?
Yeah, men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti.
That's the one.
Isn't that women go to Jupiter to get more? No? No?
No.
Venus and Mars.
That's the elementary school
Oh,
one.
okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've learned in recent years, now that Sarah and I both work full time, I didn't even know what a mental load was, embarrassingly. And I've had to figure it out, or my wife would, totally melt into nothingness. And so it's a lot. Like taking responsibility for dentist appointments, medical care. I suddenly realized how stressful that really is. And before I was like, what's wrong? I took him to the doctor. I'm helping out.
Yes.
Are you?
You didn't have to plan it.
That's the easy part.
Yes.
The hard part is keeping track of it, scheduling it, keeping up with medications.
Yeah.
Okay. 8:19. It's Follow-Up Friday. Maybe you've got some great marriage advice. Maybe you have another topic you want to talk about. 440-546-2255.
Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market, supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
Gary Chapman wrote the book on the way you and your partner both give and receive love. Now, check out the self-paced 5 Love Languages class from Moody and Rich, taught by Gary Chapman himself. For only $19.99, you'll discover how the 5 love languages can transform your relationship, along with practical tools and tips to keep both of your emotional love tanks full. Learn more and enroll at moody.edu/enrich. moody.edu/enrich.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
824 on Moody Radio. We are just about at 1,000 guys attending Walk Worthy tomorrow. I can't wait. Ron's going to be there. Don't forget to tell him you love him. I love you, Ron Eastwood.
Yeah, not necessary, but
it'll
But it
happen. Yeah.
Daria, do you think it'll happen?
As much as you've been talking about it, I'm sure at least one person will play along.
You should go somewhere else in the building and just start going, run, 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 so that everybody else picks up on it. But you can't be by Ron, because you got people they don't know what you look like.
When Ron's one of the MCs, when he's up on stage by himself, you go into the back of the crowd and you start something.
I don't know if I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
I play the long game on a lot of these. And again, Kathleen Zion with us used to co-host the show. Your husband and I like to kind of get each other. This is what guys do when they care about each other. And I spent a good 6 months subtly proclaiming his favorite Christian artist is Michael W. Smith.
That's right.
You don't do anything subtly.
I did it subtly, though. I did.
Yes.
Pretty skillfully so.
Yes. And it led to his Christmas gift being a Michael W. Smith CD.
From your dad?
From my parents, yeah.
Because your parents believed me when I talked about that.
Yep.
And I thought I had won something. One of my greatest pranks ever is that one.
It was pretty good. Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. That's what they say.
And I've done it once, Daria.
Other than that, they've all been subpar.
But guys, we'd love to see you there. We're going to have Pastor Mike Frazier. We're going to have Pastor Rodney Maiden, Pastor Paul Cannings. It's not too late to assemble your men's group, to get a group online registration, to get an individual online registration, and it's not too late for you to show up in person, okay? So get your tickets today. It's tomorrow at Canton Baptist Temple, starting tomorrow early. Ron and I are dusting off our nice clothes. Yesterday, I sat with Sarah. I was like, I need your help. And Sophia came in, my 16-year-old daughter. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to wear. I just don't have nice clothes. I don't care.
Why does it have to be nice?
Well, it doesn't have to be nice. I have like 2 outfits I wear to events, and I just can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because Daria and Lauren.
They're like, do you only have 2 outfits?
Yeah.
It's mostly Lauren. I haven't known you long enough to know all the outfits you cycle through, but I'm starting to catch on.
And so my wife, my daughter, helped me pick out something. I'm wearing a corduroy sport coat, Ron.
Well, that's
nice. We'll be twinsies.
You decided to wear yours?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yes. I don't have patches, though. I feel less than you.
Maybe I could rip one off and give you one of mine.
Oh, Ron.
You're the guy that would do that.
You would, yes.
I could be left elbow. You could be right elbow.
Oh,
friendship jacket.
You complete me jacket.
Friendship jacket. Is that like those necklaces that were half hearts?
Oh, yeah.
Did you girls do that?
Of
Oh, yeah.
course.
Obviously.
Of course.
I didn't know all girls did that.
Oh,
A lot of them did. It had a moment in the early and mid 2000s, maybe into the 90s. It was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so
I had
cute.
a sunflower one. It was so cute.
Oh. Do you still do that?
No, I don't have friends. I don't have time for friends.
You don't know. You're in that phase of life. It's crazy. It's like, and by the way, it doesn't get any better.
Wah, wah.
Okay. Follow up Friday, 440-546-2255 is the number to get your topics in before it's too late for today. But also, you can text the word WALK to that number. We'll send you a link to get your tickets to the Walk Worthy Men's Conference. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. Text WALK to 440-546-2255. One of the things I wanted to bring up today was there was an article we didn't get to from Psychology Today. 4 gaslighting phrases that can break you.
Ooh.
And so you got to stop them.
Great.
Now, gaslighting is more of a trendy thing.
Yeah.
It's a buzzword.
It's a buzzword, although it came from an old movie.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing, but people overuse the term.
What do you mean it came from a movie?
An old black and white movie.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
And
Do you remember?
I forget the exact plot of it, but it was a guy who specifically was trying to make his wife decide she was crazy.
Right. And he literally would mess with the gas in the house because before you had electricity, they had gas pipes that you'd actually light the gas lantern.
Black and white films, they were next level. Some of those films back in the day.
It sounds like a Hitchcock type thing, but I don't think it was a Hitchcock film.
I don't think, but it would have been on
And
one
that's
of
why
his
it was called
style.
gaslighting.
Yeah.
And so now, off the top of your head, Daria, how would you define gaslighting since you think it's overused?
So it's kind of when someone sets up a situation so that you feel like you're the crazy one. Like, say, Brian, you slapped me in the face. And I said, hey, why would you do that? You say, I didn't slap you in the face.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Daria? Why would I ever slap you in the face?
You wouldn't, but.
And it is that it's denying reality, or someone's like, hey, we were going to go have lunch today. No, we weren't.
Mm-hmm.
It happens often in abusive relationships, but I think we can also tend to have, to lean that direction.
What do you mean, lean that direction?
I think when we
To
get in
doing
conflicts, we can sometimes deny things and end up kind of gaslighting people, our spouses, friends. So we've got a couple of phrases I want to go through together, because certainly there's a level of dishonesty that's off the charts with gaslighting. It's not even lying. It's like lying, and it's just so mean.
Yeah.
Being mean is not a sin per se. Well, yeah, it is, because it's not loving your neighbor, but it's just an egregious kind of lying. So we'll go through some of these phrases, see what we think of them here in just a minute.
Moody Radio is thankful for support from North Coast Family Foundation, giving hope to those struggling with depression, anxiety, and trauma through Christian counseling. More information is at northcoastfamily.com. That's northcoastfamily.com.
Moody is thankful for support from Minnow. From the co-creator of VeggieTales comes a brand new animated series, The Dead Sea Squirrels. Good morning, brother. Designed to capture kids' hearts and teach them about the Bible.
With God, anything is possible.
The Dead Sea Squirrels, streaming now exclusively on Minnow. More information is at gominnow.com/Dead Sea Squirrels. Minnow uses the power of media to help kids experience Jesus every day, on and off screens. The Minnow app is available to download on all platforms.
Bringing Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania closer to Christ, one conversation at a time. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio, Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
On Moody Radio, Kathleen Zion in for a Follow-Up Friday. Follow-Up Friday is where we review the week's topics and talk about whatever you want to talk about and sometimes even bring up new things. 440-546-2255. We're chatting a bit now about gaslighting. We didn't get to this week, and I wanted to. For those not familiar, Psychology Today says it's one of the most damaging forms of emotional manipulation. It can leave you confused, second-guessing yourself, and even questioning your sanity. Gaslighters use specific phrases to control the narrative and undermine your sense of reality, whether in a romantic relationship or friendship or even a workplace. It can happen at work for sure. It's like, hey, I sent you the email about X, Y, and Z. What do you think? I never got that. Well, but I checked the sent folder. Like, you definitely got it. No, I didn't.
I just feel like, yeah, why you're lying.
And it's hard to even respond to that. What do you say? Yeah, he did. No, he didn't. Yeah, he did. What are we, 2? Yeah. So there's a couple of phrases they say that really are really indicative of gaslighting that we need to watch out for. One of them, you're too sensitive.
Yes.
You're too sensitive. Has someone said that to you before?
I've been told a lot that I'm too nice. Remember that when I first started here? Remember that?
People told you were too, which I find to be like such a weird insult.
Nice. Like, I'm nice, but I'm not like too. I don't think I'm too nice.
And it's something. Can you accuse a Christian of being too nice? It's meant as an insult.
Yeah,
but it's like,
that's what they say.
Aren't we supposed to be too nice?
Yeah, I remember being like, I'm very confused by what I'm supposed to feel after this, which maybe that is gaslighting then, because I didn't know how to feel after and I felt crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you even quantify someone being too nice?
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean?
That's a great question.
And so
these are my questions as well.
When someone says you're too sensitive, they want to downplay their hurtful behavior and make you feel like your emotions are the problem, not their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That's how it's gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that. Mm-hmm. I learned somewhere you don't say that. Maybe it's because I hate it when people tell me to calm down.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm. I'll never, it's like watching a movie. I was in a meeting with teachers in the social studies department, and there was a gal sitting kind of behind me, and I was getting very animated. Very animated and like wound up about something. And she goes, Brian. And I turn and I look at her. And I've told Ron this. She had her hands
she did the Ross.
around her shoulders, and she goes, Brian, you need to calm down. And she starts like pushing it down with her hands.
Did you lose it?
I was like, I think I said something immature, like, you need to calm down. That's what needs to happen here.
Yeah.
I mean, and I was being passionate.
Sure.
I wasn't being inappropriate.
Sure.
And so the problem I was addressing was, I thought, very important. She thought my reaction was the problem.
Yeah.
Which is gaslighting. You're too sensitive. You want marriage advice? Men, never say that to your wife.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
And wives don't say it to your husband.
No,
That's
of
so
course
hurtful. Here's another one, gaslighting phrase. That never happened. I've caught myself saying that before.
Really?
My memory stinks. That's part of it.
But does that count then? Like, do you have to be aware of the thing if you're going to gaslight someone?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
if you genuinely are like, I did not get that email.
I think gaslighting has to be more intentional. Like, but you might feel crazy if someone just oh, I'm really bad at organizing my inbox and it was just a genuine misunderstanding.
Yeah.
However, there are better ways to handle this. Like, you need to acknowledge, I'm sorry, I must have lost it. Can you please send it again?
Totally.
Whereas just saying, I didn't get it, you never sent it. That's entirely different.
Yeah.
So the person here says that you don't, because it's crazy making for someone to say, that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, I clearly remember what was said. If there's a misunderstanding, let's discuss it. But I know what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a confident way to respond.
Sure.
I can say that unintentionally. I would say it in times where maybe there's a variation of what Sarah said to me, but I'd say that's not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I've learned now what I can say is, I don't remember it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember saying that to you, but I believe you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in some sense because there's sometimes, I don't know, you guys ever been there where you said this to me, like Nathan might go, Kathleen, you said this to me. And you're like, no, I did not.
So I don't know if this completely applies, but I think it does. not necessarily with gaslighting, but just with friendships. Like if I'm with my best friend and she tells me something, I'll come home and tell Nate, here's what my best friend said. And he'll be like, I said that to you. And I'm like, I didn't hear it that way because I hear it differently from coming from my best friend than coming from my spouse.
Every man's experience.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wives, I got a great idea. We should do X, Y, and Z. Yeah, my idea. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not gaslighting, but I also think, I guess if you have to respond and so here's what I understood.
And I think in relationships, you have to be careful with this because it's a more mature version of what my kids will do. You know, you hear like, and somebody starts crying. Did you just hit your sister? No. Did you slap your sister? No. Did you shove your sister? No. Did you punch her? Yeah. You see?
Yeah.
Okay. Next phrase that is a form of gaslighting we got to stop doing. Everyone agrees with me.
Ooh, yeah.
Everyone agrees with me.
Yeah. You are the odd one. Yeah.
Yeah, this happens, honestly. People love to do this when they're upset.
Oh, sure.
It's been a long time since I've seen this, but I've had calls with people listening to the show or, emails. I talk to my friends, and everyone agrees with me that you said X, Y, and Z, or that you are dumb.
Everyone agrees.
I've talked to everyone and all of them. And then when you ask that person, okay, I'm sorry, everyone, who was that?
Yeah.
Well, everybody. Right. But who, though? Right. And sometimes they end up saying one person.
Right.
So one person agrees with you? Awesome. Good for you.
Yes. And watch for the inverse, that nobody wants this thing that you're promoting, and it wouldn't happen if nobody wanted it. There's actually a significant number of people that want this new law passed or whatever. But, the opponents, nobody wants that. Oh, really? You've interviewed everyone and they all said no? No, but I just want to shut you down.
And it's not just gaslighting. It's bullying. People could use it in the workplace. Nobody here likes this new policy. Actually, you mean you don't like it?
Right.
And you're trying to bully me into changing it? Oh, I see. Okay. So that's a bad one. The next one, this would drive me crazy. Okay, this is another form of gaslighting.
I'm taking notes.
You're overthinking this.
Oh. No, I'm underthinking it.
Now, you and I share this in common. We don't have much in common, Kathleen.
We have plenty, and everyone disagrees with that, Brian.
Now, our personality types are polar opposites.
We're polar opposites, yeah.
But we both tend to overthink.
Yes.
Not in a negative sense. Like, I ruminate. I think. I spend a lot of time in my head.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Don't tell me I'm overthinking. I like it.
Yes.
I like to think deeply.
I have to.
You underthinking is not my problem.
Yes. Yes, I have to make sure everything's okay. So you interrupting me and saying I'm wrong about thinking is not helping.
Yeah.
Instead, you could go, how can I help? Or what are you thinking about? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want some time to go think about that on your own?
Yeah, like if you're, if you were to walk up to Nathan and go, I'm really concerned about our child's learning at school. I don't know. I think you're overthinking it.
Yeah? Do you?
Do you want to fight, Nathan? Actually fight right now?
And then here's all of the reasons I disagree.
And so the proper response to fight against this is, I'm bringing this up because it's important to me. Dismissing it doesn't make it go away.
That's good. That's really good.
It's really good. And the scripture talks about in Proverbs, lying lips are an abomination. For whatever reason, this keeps coming up in my head recently. Another reminder that we're all sinners and fall short of God's glory, but we tend to prioritize what's good and what's bad. Gaslighting is a form of lying. And saying this to people is not only mean and a violation of the greatest commandment, but it's a lie.
It can also fall into abuse, depending on how it's used and how frequently.
And I think these are the source of a lot of marital conflicts are not necessarily what happened, but how you're talking about what happened. Someone's feelings are hurt and you tell them that they're being too sensitive. Okay, well, what you just said is the real problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hurtful. And I think also just being able to gain awareness of it so that you can have the right way to respond. I think oftentimes we have this knee-jerk reaction to hearing something because we immediately put our guard up. And I think it's either for the delivering person and the receiving person. So for either side to respectfully start to learn, okay, what you just said is gaslighting, but without going, you're gaslighting me. Instead just say, here's what I'm hearing that you're saying, and I think we're totally missing each other. Can we talk about this? So then that now puts the other person they're now at the will of how to answer that, and you're not going to lower yourself to their standard. Now, when it comes to like sort of that like verbal abuse type thing where like I can think of a couple people in my mind right now who just would take that and take it and let it like ruminate in them and make them so sad and so heavy. And it's like, well, I would encourage you to become aware of those type of words, and how can you, respond to promote the other person to start thinking differently, without, causing anger and things like that. But I think both parties need to listen for the cues, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. And I would say theologically, and you guys can help me with this, it's a working theory. For Christians, defensiveness is not a great plan, because if we truly believe we are sinners who fall short of God's glory, we probably are, in some measure, to blame. For what? All the conflict we encounter.
Yeah.
Because we're sinners.
Yeah.
In thought, word, and deed.
Mm-hmm.
Do you buy into my theology?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a hard one to, I'm a very defensive person, so it's very hard for me. But
Brian, I think you're overthinking this.
You're the one who's overthinking it. Your mom overthought
Brian,
it.
everyone thinks that you're overthinking. A double whammy.
It's 8:46 on WCRF. A few more minutes to go on Follow-Up Friday before our Friday song.
Let's see. If something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 877-58-BIBLE. That's 877-58-BIBLE. 877-58-BIBLE.
Today, there is a disciple-making church planting movement that's taken root in 40 countries around the world. It's called the Timothy Initiative, and its mission is to see a healthy church planted in every village, everywhere. Since 2007, over 200,000 churches have been planted through the work of the Timothy Initiative, but there's more work to be done. Take your place in the Timothy Initiative. Go to ttiglobal.org.
Bringing Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania closer to Christ, one conversation at a time. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio, Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
That's our Friday song. We still have a few minutes left here on the show. 440-546-2255. It says Mornings with Brian, WCRF. Walkworthy is tomorrow. I cannot wait. Ron and I will be there. Corduroy sport coats and a smile.
Yep. Matching friendship jacket.
I was going to say best friend bracelets.
We should, Ron.
I don't know how to make them.
No, you already figured it out. You take the patch off the jacket and you give it to Brian. You each have a patch.
There you go.
Because the
friendship jacket.
You have to braid for the bracelet, right? Don't you?
There are different types.
Yeah, you could just
Do you know
put
I can't
beads.
braid?
That's okay. I don't know how to French braid, and I've always felt sad and self-conscious about that.
No, but I mean, if I took 3 strands of hair.
You don't know how to braid 3 strands of hair?
3 strands of anything.
Really? That's
I look at it and
surprising.
I'm paralyzed. Nothing can happen.
You never did Boy
I
Scouts
twist it.
anything?
I was in Cub Scouts, but we're not braiding stuff. What do you think we're doing?
I felt like you had to learn a lot of rope ties or something.
You know, I wish I would have.
Okay.
I'd love to tie a good knot. I
Yeah,
don't
Nate
know how to
loves that
tie a
kind of
knot.
thing.
Jimmy can help you.
Was he a Boy Scout?
He's an Eagle Scout. He was also in Sea Scouts. He knows
Wow. I
he
don't
knows
know
his
what
way
that
around
means.
knots.
What's a
Sea
Sea
Scout.
Scout?
That's Boy Scouts on the water.
He's a pirate. Arr. Did he swab the deck?
I don't know.
But he tied knots.
They had little ships they had to clean, like little. I think they were sailboats or something like that.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so he knows the knots. I don't know. And you know what knots I know? The shoe tying ones.
Oh, Brian.
And so
But
whenever
what
I
about
have
like
to,
the tree? Like you
Don't
have to
you
just put your swings up in a tree and stuff.
Sarah did that.
You struggle with the shoe tie knots too, though, which is why you got the slip-on shoes.
Yeah, I'm not wearing those anymore because they're getting too old, too worn out.
Didn't you just buy those?
Yeah, I wear them every day all the time. So after about 6 months in the winter, they're pretty much done. But yeah, Ron, do you know all the knots? You were in Boy Scouts.
I know a few of them.
Which ones?
The bowline hitch, the double half hitch, the regular half hitch.
I don't know anything.
Square knot, granny knot.
Grandpa knot.
So like if I want something to tie and not move, I do the first move for the tying of the shoes where you cross the laces and then pull.
Yes.
If you just stack a bunch of those on top
That's
of each
what
other.
I do. Just stack them up.
Stack
and
'em
then
up.
over time they untwine and you're like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nate is quite the knot master. It's interesting. I did not know this. He'll are swaying all this the other day, not the other day, but it was Christmas time. Everett wanted to build the Grinch sled in our backyard. So Nate was out there making a sled with our stuff out there. And then I had to untie that recently, and it was not easy.
Well, you have to know how to untie the knot because some of them you just kind of go, and the whole thing falls apart.
I just kept yanking and then shaking it until it finally came out. And
That's
I was
what I
like,
would do.
Get a screwdriver and start prying.
just cut it.
There you go. That works.
Wow.
Much shorter rope then.
Boy Scouts,
Friendship bracelets.
friendship bracelets, Walkworthy. There we go.
Walkworthy Men's Conference.
Tomorrow.
That's where we work.
We will not have any friendship bracelets available, but if you can make them, Ron and I will accept them.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I'd claim you as my
It'll
friend.
be like
Ron.
an Eras Tour moment. Taylor Swift, Eras Tour.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. They all have friendship bracelets. I don't know. I don't like Taylor Swift, but I heard.
But
that's
you know
what
all
kids
about
do.
her.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where I'm like, I can't stand her. What is she doing today?
But yeah, get your tickets. It's going to be amazing. There's just about 1,000 tickets sold so far for the in-person portion of it. And this year, again, we have about 100 guys inside Lorraine Correctional will be participating from inside the institution. And we're very excited as well that there's about 30-some guys that have been recently released from Lorraine Correctional that are gathering as well.
Cool.
So cool. Yeah, I love what Pastor Scott's doing. On Monday, Pastor Scott Lessing will come back on the show to help us understand and know what happened at Walkworthy inside Lorraine Correctional.
That's always a good time.
Oh, I love the stories he brings to us. And I'm confident there's going to be some incredible stories of lives changed. And guys, remember, bring your issues. You've got issues. I know you do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you've
That
got
song.
spirit. Yes, you do.
You've got issues. How about you?
See? So
That was really fun. That was really great.
I know. I should be your cheerleader as well.
I got issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the enthusiasm behind it.
Yeah, well, we know you have issues because I know I got some, and so does Ron. So watch out. We'd love to help you with those.
That sounds
Our
like
panel
a Taylor Swift
discussion
song.
is all about. I've got issues.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate your issues.
Shake them off.
See, look at us combining them all. A few more minutes to go on Mornings with Brian. Don't go anywhere, but text WALK to get your